Bro, I wanted to drive this. What the flip?
I got motion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Battlebit podcast. Today's episode, bad words. We're gonna talk about fuck, shit, piss, cunt, motherfucker, asshole, shit, bitch, jackass, all that shit.
Shut up.
Have a nice time.
I like this one.
Why do we have to do a raining map?
Do a little bit about why these things are problematic.
Shut up.
I can't drive. I do not have a license. I might be a little retarded too. I'm on the spectrum definitely.
We plan to have a little bit of a ranting episode today. I'm gonna rant about this shit because I am sick and fucking tired of the emphasis on fucking words.
Stop talking.
Bad words and shit. No, I don't really care for all this, fucking retardation around trying to prevent everyone or people. You don't want to say a certain word to say a certain word. I guess we get to slurs a little bit, but mainly I want to talk about like level bad words, like regular bad words, because regular bad words are the real issue. Slurs make sense, right? They're a specific thing aimed at a specific group of people. But
I'm going to go 200 miles per hour into a street.
It's really however you choose to look at it. Holy fuck, there's a lot of people right here. I didn't even see. What the fuck? What did we just drive into? What the fuck was that? Holy shit, I've never played this map before, so what the fuck was that? But no, it's the basic bad words that cause like a real problem, right? I get constantly sick of places like schools or like business having a problem with people saying swear words. I think swear words are a stupid idea. It's partially led to this whole idea of people being overly sensitive about everything and being upset about things. People saying something that offends them, people speaking in a way that offends them.
Hey, buddy, you need to shut the fuck up.
Originates from this sort of center of Christian, kind of like, what the fuck was the word? The Christian panic.
Thank you, I love you.
That big Christian panic. About, protect the kids from this, protect the people from that, you can't say this, you can't do that. It all comes from sort of like a panic mindset of like this, Christian purity. This stupid idea of Christian purity. Like, who gives a fuck? The Christians do, and they ruled the country for a while, which is why all this stupid, retarded shit is in place. I mean, the idea that you can't say stuff like retarded, you can't say fuck, you can't say shit, you can't say piss in a school is stupid. I understand if it's directed to somebody, the kid should face punishment. But the idea that you can't use these words at all is just a open door to use them. Sadly, if you removed swear words, slur words would become sort of the replacement. So I think we have to kind of look at language as not words that you can't say, but ways you can't use those words. People often, they like to do this thing where they get mad at somebody for the words they use, but in reality, what they're angry with is the way the person's using the word most of the time. Unless we're talking about places like school, where it's like, oh, because you're a child, it's somehow not appropriate for you to use this word. I understand, really young kids, they don't understand the meaning. But even then, trying to prevent them from saying it really doesn't help anyone in the long run. It doesn't give you any sort of benefit. It doesn't benefit the children. It doesn't benefit the adults. It doesn't benefit anybody. It makes the children not trust their parents as they grow up. Makes the parents kind of look like idiots and authoritarian assholes the more they push this on the kids. And also in places like schools, it makes kids not want to listen. It gives them this whole area of badness that they can continue to be like this goofy, I don't know, like this goofy, arbitrary, oh, you said this word, now I can really punish you type thing. Like they jump at these, not so much that that's what it's mainly used for, but like you'll see teachers will they'll like leap at the opportunity to get a kid in trouble for swearing. But the teachers themselves will use swear words, which by the time you hit high school, I mean, honestly, even middle school is kind of ridiculous trying to prevent people from using things like fucking swear words or some shit. But high school is ridiculous. High school is the point where there's people fucking in the bathrooms and the halls and the teachers' rooms and the teachers' lounge. Hell, the teachers are probably fucking somewhere. Why are you being so fucking retarded about this stupid arbitrary word thing? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It helps nobody. It hurts everyone. It just makes problems. And the only benefit people get out of it, right? If you look at the only benefit we get out of it, is not having to hear bad words come from kids. It's it. It's fucking it. I mean, there's, again, if you walk up to a teacher and you say, I bet your cunt smells like rosemary, that's fucking... I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. That's fucked up. Like, it's funny from an outside perspective the way I'm laughing at it. But like, if you have a kid come up and say that to you as like a teacher, that's some wild shit. That's some wild shit. Like, that's a wild thing for a teacher to just come up and go, hey, or for a kid to come up to a teacher, hey, Miss, I don't know, Miss Smiths, I don't know. Your cunt smells like rosemary. What do you do to that? You fucking punish the kid, first of all. But again, like, how else are you supposed to respond to that? Because they're directing it towards you. They're being inappropriate the way they're using it. But if some kid hits his toe, or some kid's talking about this other kid's mom, and he says, yeah, and your mom fucks on OnlyFans, I don't know, that's kind of justified, you know? If these kids are all talking shit about your mom, or they're saying some shit, you know, and you come back with, you know, some snappy shit like, you know, your dad's a bitch, and he can't even lift half his own weight, some shit like that. Yeah, that's a response thing, and that's another problem, is kids can't turn around and use the same type of language that they have used against them, because the teachers always catch the second part. So, that's why I think, you know, when kids shit talk each other, they really need to get down to the origin of it instead of who's saying what, right? Because you get mad at these kids for saying these words, these arbitrary rules we've made up in our mind. And like I said, at a certain age, it's sort of understandable. Like, you don't want kindergartners running around screaming "fuck," but the way we demonize it and make it seem like it's this universal forbidden thing, if you talk like that, you know, you're gonna get arrested or some shit. And people are like, oh, we don't make it seem like that. To the kids you do. To the children you do. That's the problem. Like, to kids growing up, it's why people wonder why they grow up with mental health issues, confused, no guidance, no understanding of anything. They can't learn shit from school because school is meant to indoctrinate them, not fucking tell them things. Like, if you ever needed evidence that school was meant to indoctrinate, just look at all this shit in American history it skips because we don't want to, you know, give them anti-propaganda. We only want to give them positive propaganda, right? So, I mean, to a degree, you know, it's there to teach you shit, but only shit that's helpful to the state to use you as some sort of useful worker, right? It's never to the extent to where you actually can learn stuff to do on your own, to where you can make good monetary stuff for the state and yourself to have your own little section. Because if everybody got up and started being their own little man, well, then we'd find the federal government would probably not be very, very big anymore like it is. A lot of these politicians' jobs would be less useful. People would be more independent and use local government more, and local government would be more of a determining factor rather than federal. Things like that. So they want to keep you under a certain, you know, area, under a certain knowledge. That's why they don't teach you about taxes. That's why they don't teach you about fucking economic policy. That's why they don't teach you about, I guess political policies for, like, if you want to vote and shit. Like, I mean, it's really funny that we expect our entire population to vote, yet we never have a class on political policies ever.
Sensitive nannies, help me, brother.
You know? It's absolutely ridiculous that the government is basically just saying, hey, pad our numbers, but don't actually learn about our job. That's pretty much what that shit just turned into. Which is funny, because in the early days of the actual education system, they would teach you about modern politics. And a lot of history teachers try to teach you about current events. But the problem is they're not allowed to delve into the actual deep things of the events. I think the problem is we should talk about both sides, talk about the actual policies in history that were similar to these ones and affected things and what they did. And look at things I think you start in Rome to get basic stuff in 8th grade. Then in high school, you should start to move into early American history, early settlement history, like British. Basically pretty much any empire that was significant in the entire history education thing, you want to start with how they started and what policies they did that were wrong in the beginning instead of just teaching the general history. It might be even good to turn around and go back, right? To turn around and go back to this. Like, after you've taught them basic history, you go back and teach the policy history so they're double educated.
Who the fuck is yapping?
And I think this is like the problem. We have these weird arbitrary lines on everything where we can't talk about this, we can't say that, we can't do this, but at the end of the day all it does is hurt us instead of help us. And bad words are one of the pinnacles of this. I mean, the fact that people think being called fat or like acknowledging that someone's fat is a hate crime is probably one of the biggest issues when it comes to like sensitivity in like a quick little tidbit, right? Because I don't give a shit if I was fat and someone called me fat. Well, I'm fat. I got there with my own fucking eating, right? And you know what's interesting? Like, you can easily become unfat by just not eating. You can fast your way, like, you can just fast your way out of fucking, like, fatness and heavy weight and obesity. But everyone says it's a genetic disorder. It's not a genetic disorder. Some people have, like, things that make it harder. Some people have, like, little, like, that hip thing. But notice, before the 1950s, there weren't that many fat people, and now it's like 70% of the population. So you can't tell me it's a genetic thing when I go back into my genetic history and none of my family was fat, right? It's this idea that something we deem, wrong is wrong no matter who you're talking to. It's the same kind of sense of America as a population, not as like a fucking government. So not like as a government, but like as a people. As a people, we think that Uganda is evil for killing gay people, right? And I guess you could technically say they are if you're going to take a certain moral stance. But at the same time, we don't live in their country. That's not our country. We have no right to tell them what the fuck to do with any of their people. I mean, the fucking Chinese, they take them, they gather them up and throw them in prisons just for saying Xi Jinping looks like fucking Winnie the Pooh. So, I mean, who are we to tell a whole other fucking country what they're allowed to do in their country? And you know what's funny? Even if a majority of a country votes for a policy that American citizens disagree with, they still think we have the right to throw our sons and daughters into a boat or onto a plane and bomb the fuck out of another country because we were offended by something that happened across the fucking water. It's the same sort of concept. This stupid fucking self-righteous idea that you are the arbitrator of good, evil, right, and wrong. It comes from this sort of like Christian area of all people know right and wrong. All men and women are born with an understanding of right and wrong. Try telling that to Jeffrey Dahmer. Try telling that to fucking some dude with a serious psychotic disorder that doesn't understand what the word feelings even is because he's never felt one in his life. They're gonna know a lot about right and wrong. And you know what their right and wrong is gonna be? I get what I want, you do what I say, or I kill you. And it's just not true. The world isn't some perfect little place where everybody's born with a nice sense and feeling of kumbaya and, oh, you shouldn't do that thing. That's why we have idiots that think that we can just stop fucking killing animals and somehow that's going to stop the death of animals to create our food. Like, people actually think that if we just farm, that we're not going to kill any animals. Do you know how many animals you got to kill to stop them from eating your shit? Do you know how you got rabbits, mice, fucking weasels, fucking possums, you got fucking hogs, you got fucking deer, you got fucking bugs, you gotta spray, shoot, and bomb motherfuckers. Sometimes you gotta burn whole crop fields just to keep your fucking produce from getting annihilated by the local population of whatever animal thinks that it's just as tasty as we do. It's stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Then not to mention, when you fucking plow a field, you kill everything in the field. That's why you plow it. So the shit in the field doesn't eat your fucking plant's roots. These people can't even pass basic fucking arithmetic. And they run around worried about what other people say, do, and think. It's ridiculous. And it's why it starts with bad words.
Shut the fuck up.
Because people think that we can't say shit, fuck, piss, motherfucker, asshole, jackass in a work environment or in a school environment or around children. And then what does that turn into? That turns into a bunch of people screaming at you because you said they're a man instead of a woman. Or a bunch of people screaming at you because you said they're fat and they identify as big boned. It's ridiculous. You get a bunch of people running around in complete fucking delusion. It's deluded. You are fat. You are obese. You eat too much. Put down the fucking shortcake and walk for a mile a day. You're good. You're going to start losing weight even in small increments. But oh no, I'm not losing weight because I picked up 12 things of Twinkies and fucking crushed them before I got home. Oh no, my diet isn't working because I fucking cheated on it 12 times like my fucking last 5 partners. Oh no. Like, it's ridiculous. Fucking, and one of the worst parts is you constantly see this with younger and younger people. The more people that are born, it feels like the more people do this dumb ass shit. They have this stupid fucking sensitivity problem. And I'm telling you, it starts with this don't say bad words. Because the idea is you put a concept into a child's mind that child now understands there are things that are banned, that are not allowed. No! Can't do it at all. It's evil! Put him in jail! Put him in jail! And that's what they see. All right? So they grow up with that, and then once they get a little older and they start learning about the history of the country, they hear freedom, 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 freedom. And instantly, there's a dichotomy that just would break anyone's brain. I mean, you're growing up, you don't even understand the difference between, logic and fucking non-logic. How the fuck are you going to understand the difference between things that are socially banned and legally banned, right? That's why you see so many people that think like these things that are socially unacceptable are actually illegal, because they don't know the difference, because we don't teach it to them. We tell them not to do things and expect them to follow us like it's a dictator. Every parent household is a dictatorship, and it's why it doesn't fit with a model of democracy and freedom, and why people are trying to control everybody else and their words and the things they're allowed to say and the topics they're allowed to speak about, because we told them in the beginning, you can't say these words.
Right.
So it set up a frame of reference of you can ban things that people are not allowed to think, speak, or do. And they took that. They didn't attach it to legality. They didn't attach it to social norms. They attached it to the idea of, if it hurts me, if I don't like it, then it's bad and I can ban it. And that's also kind of what happens when they realize it was only against their parents' rules, yet everyone follows it. So you kind of come to this realization as a teenager that everybody, this is the Battlebit podcast, we're talking about bad words and why they're a problem for the concept of freedom and the idea of free speech and how they destroy it and dismantle it at its very inception. And what happens is they go to this stupid immediate mindset of, oh, so there are things that our society will not let you do no matter who it is, but it's not in law. Well, why isn't it in law? And no one ever thinks about that, because the simple idea of freedom over comfortability has been lost. They don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between allowing someone to say something legally that most people don't like and wouldn't want them to say, versus banning them from doing something or saying something that specifically hurts or harms another person, right? And it's as simple as that. You don't even need to go to social norms or into legality. You just have to go into, there are things that when you say them, sure, people's feelings might be hurt, but that doesn't tangibly work into your body is hurt. It's understandable if someone is coming at you constantly with constant harassment. That's why we made bullying a legality problem, because it's constant. It's not just, oh, fuck you, Jared, and then walking away. People are expected to have the fortitude and strength to deal with that. But when you tell them they shouldn't even be dealing with fuck, shit, piss, motherfucker, jackass, whatever, they're not going to deal with anything. They're going to be like, keep it away. I don't want to hear the bad words. I don't want to hear the bad words. I'm sad. Arrest that man. I'm sad. And it's stupid. It's really stupid. I even think bullying, to a degree, if it's just verbal, unless it's the whole fucking class and the teacher isn't doing shit about it, should not be a legality problem. It should only be a legality problem once it becomes physical, or once they start like doing things physically to you, or it's like outside of the school type thing where they're harassing you outside of the school. If it's happening in the school, you know who the fuck is responsible? The staff, not the kid. We know kids bully. We know kids. It's not a soundboard. I'm not a soundboard. I am a live podcast. I'm live on Twitch. It's the Battlebit podcast.
I love it.
My name is Sensitive Nammies on YouTube. We have 10 episodes up. All right. We're on episode 11, talking about bad words. Sorry. I have a really passionate feel about this. That's why we're ranting about it. But it's like, these kids.
No, never mind. I respect it.
That's a good topic.
You're a random dude like going ham for like.
So
5
we
minutes.
have to find a. No, it's understandable. I like to interact with
Dude,
people
I
on the
was
podcast,
saying
but
to you
everyone was
that.
just screaming "shut the fuck up," so I had to mute a lot of people. Because I mean, like after like the first 3 shut the fucks up, you got to come up with new material to disrupt my flow, or else I'm just gonna mute you. I don't mind if people try to disrupt my flow. I welcome it. It's happened a couple times, and usually they don't get through to me, or I'm able to juxtapose my shit to a different way of speaking about the point when I lose my track. But most people just scream, shut the fuck up. It's never creative. I did have one guy come in and scream crackers for 10 minutes one time. I thought that was funny. That was very funny. That was creative. Because I don't, like, you can pick any random word, but you just start coming in and screaming a random word. That's at least better than just screaming, shut the fuck up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! It's like, hey buddy, can you come up with some new material? I know a couple of women that can come up with more comedy material than you can words. Like, it's a problem. But
Oh, that's weird.
back to our, well, what do you mean it's weird? Don't you know that 80% of comedy is men? It's because women don't like to try comedy. It's not because they're not funny. There are actually funny women out there. It's just that women don't like the realm of comedy because they don't like stage things. They have a higher aptitude to stage fright. It's really weird. But that's also what. But see, the thing is though, if they know they have talent, a difference between men and women. If women know they have a talent, they actually have more confidence than men on a stage. But very few women actually have like belief that their talent is anything special. A lot of women get like put down in certain places in society when it comes to extracurricular skills that are more like considered a man's type thing.
Actually emoji. That is insane.
What actually emoji? Oh my actually, did you know that the square root of pi is actually 4748555937 dicks to the 47 ball, but this titty isn't making it across the soccer field to get to my mom? Holy shit! Like that kind of actually?
You got any ammo? Oh no, shit, you're an NG.
No, I'm not an ammo guy. I'm a rocket guy. I'm a rocket guy.
Oh, it was just somebody's coming.
Where are they at? Rocket! There, I shot a rocket. But the biggest issue is we have this arbitrary shit that immediately throws children into this idea that more things in the world need to be banned or not said than we actually agreed with previously, right? So when it comes to, again, I think the fat thing is the whole, because I understand slurs. Slurs are an understandable thing. I think we shouldn't be so angry about them, but being angry about them to a degree is very healthy. It's just the problem that, say, I think here's a great one. If I want to sing a rap song, I gotta bleep out the N-word. I think that's stupid. If you're gonna make the song with the word, that's dumb. But I'm not gonna run up to a black person and just say, "Hey, what's up, my N-word?" Like that's stupid. That's disrespectful. And I'm not gonna use it around black people for like 99% of my life. But guess what? if I'm singing a song, I'm gonna sing the fucking song. I hate that stupid shit with Kendrick Lamar where he brought a white woman on stage and then told her to sing the song. She said the N-word in the song and he got mad at her. And I'm like, you wrote the song, you fucking moron. And you were obviously okay with having a white fan. The fuck is your problem? What is your issue? What is your fucking conniption? You have some sort of brain aneurysm that made you retarded in the world of logic and fucking fairness?
Well, this is your podcast.
Yeah, my podcast is on Twitch. It's the Battlebit podcast. We're live right now. It's also on YouTube. I post the episodes on YouTube afterwards under my name. So, yeah.
Frick you.
Everyone loves coming to check me out. I love it.
Straight out, straight out.
Oh my god, the scorpion is so ridiculous. Alright, but see, so now these kids enter the world. They immediately go, well, there are things that we understand are unacceptable and they need to be banned because they hurt my feelings or they do bad things. And we kind of conflated this idea of bullying, online harassment, and it kind of led us into the area that words are violence. And this is one of the core areas I want to talk about. I don't want to get into some of the trans shit that this shit gets around too much because obviously that's heavily political and Twitch will fucking take a fucking what's it? So they have like this tool where when you're hunting and you need to remove the intestines from an animal and they take it, they stick it in the animal's butthole and they rip out the intestines because it has hooks on it. That's what Twitch will do to me if I start talking about anything with like heavy with trans people. I am gonna test it one day, like on the 50th episode. I'm gonna test how much into the trans shit I can get into because I think there's nothing wrong with trans people. I just think the self-ID stuff is a little unfounded. There's no scientific founding for it. But, you know, it is what it is. Twitch will be what they will be. They will rip out my asshole if they deem so fit. That's why all these companies, as we spoke about last time, keep their terms of service vague. But anyways, boys, I'm gonna pause it right here at this this talk about where's that moment we're pausing. Now the kids are at the understanding. Yeah, no more wait, that's right. This was trenches. I didn't even realize that, bro. I should have been running around with a fucking suicide vest. I barely play this map. But we're going to leave off the idea that kids come into the world thinking that words are violence because we've conflated that there are words you can't say. And when people use those words, you have things like online harassment, bullying, group bullying, and we've taken those concepts and we've kind of mixed them, and that's where we're at. Well, it's just me in Twitch chat. What's up, Piano? Thanks for checking me out, brother. I actually have to put up I'm finally going to have a consistent time we're going to do these podcasts. We were doing the first 10 kind of random, but now that it's 11 on, every day, every Tuesday, between 8 and 10 o'clock is going to be my start time. I can't always have 100% start time like on the thing right yet until I can because like I have a schedule and I have to like reorganize my schedule to have those 2 hours done, cleared. But my question now is I think I'm going to have random days. I'm going to start Battlebit controversial soon, right? I want to start Battlebit podcast goes controversial soon. Dude, that time is amazing just as I get home from after work. Yeah, I mean, hey, that works. I kind of want it to be like that, like after an after work podcast, especially since a lot of people that, you know, they just play the game. They're the ones that come and see me and stuff. So my idea is that I want to get a schedule down, that it's every Tuesday, but also we're going to have a controversial version of Battlebit podcast.
It's a bright red camo you got on that gun, brother.
Battlebit, because I can't do it on Battlebit because of their politics and other things. I get away with saying surface level or just talking about general opinions, and if the squad's okay with it. But I'm going to do straight controversy on here because of that. I'm going to do controversial stuff on Sons of the Forest, or
this is a very good way to fucking die. I hope you know that, brother.
Restart our
White Hunter, you're gonna die.
Little intro going.
Rope.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Battlebit podcast, episode 11, part 2. Talk about bad words. Does anyone have anything to say about bad words and how having bad words leads to less freedom of speech? Go. Let's see what happens. Nope, that's a great point. I have to disagree with you. That is a great point, though, and I think we should discuss it in detail.
Hey.
Now, I think one of the big issues in that area of people now thinking
What
that
would you
words are
say
violent.
is the baddest word?
The baddest word? Slurs, of course. We've already talked about how slurs are kind of understandable as bad words, but like fuck, shit, piss, jackass, motherfucker, you know, retarded. These words shouldn't be bad words, you know? They're stupid. They lead people to thinking that it's okay to say words equal violence, that words are action, that kind of shit. It also makes people hypersensitive to words that aren't supposed to be illegal and making them think that they are supposed to be illegal, or speaking a certain way with those words is supposed to be illegal just because it's socially unacceptable. It's stupid. And it brings us that plus the whole bullying thing that would be right next to it. Both of them originating from schools, by the way, leads us directly into the idea that words are and always will be some sort of violence, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's unfounded, it's untrue, and it completely removes our entire idea of freedom of speech in the country. It removes the idea of freedom of speech in any Western country, freedom of choice, freedom of democracy, freedom of voting. Because immediately, right, let's go with the fat stuff. You can't talk about fat people, guys. You can't talk about fat people because they have a genetic disorder. No, they don't. They're fat. They are obese and they need to work out. Some of them do have disorders, but it's a small percentage, okay? Not a high percentage. Because guess what? Go back to the 1950s. Nobody was fat. Like 10-20% of the population was fat.
We get it, bro.
Right? So the
We get
idea, I know you get it. This is a podcast. I don't care what you get. I'm going to keep going. But the idea is that somehow in the last 50 years, everybody just developed some sort of genetic disorder from genes that were added into us somewhere. Because they didn't come from our fucking parents. You go back to your fucking family line. They ain't fat. They ain't fat at all. But maybe we can consider that in the my grandmother, she got her milk out of a glass from a guy in a truck, not at a store. So there's a lot to consider, like the fact that the entire way we process, store, and like deliver food is different. We have much more variety in the foods that we eat. We have much more crap in our food. We have much different types of food that we commonly eat, and most of it is full of trans fats, sugars, shit that just does not do good for the body when it comes to weight. And that is the real problem that nobody wants to talk about because it'll make companies less money. What makes them more money is, hey, eat as much as you want. Go ahead, eat whatever you want. Eat all of my products. Actually, eat 5,000 of them in a day. Because guess what? There's nothing you can do about being fat. Your genetics means you were meant to be fat. You're supposed to be fat. So stay fat, you little fatty, and eat all my products. That's why it's a thing. It has nothing to do with genetics. It's this stupid idea that, because guess what? Another thing that people don't talk about, and how I know that this is probably activated by companies somewhere, right?
Pretty young thug.
Companies specifically pay into advertising for food to keep away from talking about sugar as a fat adder and talk about fat as a fat adder.
What is this conversation about?
It's about words, bad words. We're talking about the concept of freedom of speech in sort of in a sense, but we're talking about it from the sense of bad words. This is the Battlebit podcast, and we're live on Twitch. I mean, some people argue their genetic are bad, make them fat, but being obese is another problem. Yeah, that is true. That's what I said. There's a small percentage of people that do have this issue. But see, these people... Sorry, I was talking to Twitch chat. But see, these people, they get this idea, right?
That's him, Nanny.
That
fucking get it.
That there's no such thing as conspiracies. But if you look, there are companies who will pay for things that make them more money, and it's not a conspiracy. It's just a simple guy, paying somebody else to do a job. So they pay people to overindulge in talking about how fat will make you fat or trans fat will make you fat. They don't talk about how sugar makes you fat. It gives you unhealthy eating habits. It's very addictive also. And they don't talk about none of that shit. You want to go where? See, right here? No one's talks to me. I don't drop people off unless you say something.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you're not going to
He wants to go to A, man.
Oh, wait, he wants to go to A? Why would you want to
Right
go
here,
to
right here.
I thought you said C.
Or C, yeah, right.
There you go.
I thought I heard him say A, maybe I'm just retarded.
Oh, there's this guy right here. Ah, you got him. Nice, good shit. But yeah, it's this, people have this idea that, the companies paying for that, doing that kind of deal is a conspiracy. But all it is business, right? They do this kind of business all the time. So the idea that they're not also paying these fat activist people or these big bone activist people to promote fatness and also promote their products at the same time is not a far reach. It's just they're not paying them, hey, go out there and talk about how being fat is great and healthy. No, they're saying, hey, we're paying you to do our product, but we'll also pay you a little extra money if when you're out in other spaces, you don't talk about the bad things about being fat. You don't talk about unhealthy food. You just act like everything's okay. And they give them a little extra money to the stuff they're already paying them for. It's a very simple and easy business transaction. It's what the people with cigarettes did. It's not hard. It's also what the fucking vape people did to try to get them addicted to kids. They pay people that are experts to go out and say, well, these things are fine. They're better than cigarettes. They're more healthy for you. They're just fine. There's no carcinogens. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But in reality, there's something very wrong. There's something very, very wrong. Okay, hold on. This guy's pissing me off. I'm about to go fucking hardo mode on this dude. He wants to play these games. Let's play these games, baby. Let's play these games. Come on, brother, play the game. Let's play the game. Let's play the game. Let's play the game. Yeah, you're smoking. What you gonna do? Fucking die, bitch. You think you're all that? You think you all that? You ain't shit. You ain't shit, brother. Get the fuck up out of my face. Alright, sorry, I had to take care of that. These boys think they know how to fly like that, but they ain't like that. They ain't smooth like that. I can sit here and talk on a podcast while using like half of my hand, blocking myself from the D button and having to do some sort of extra pinky shit just to get over to it. And I can still fly better than them. Fucking pussies. Alright, but it's kind of where all the fat activist thing has kind of like jumped into all that shit, saying that words are like bad words and shit is like a crime, that it's violence. Saying somebody's fat or making fun of them because they're fat is violence, which I don't think you should make fun of anyone for any reason. But if some guy, some fat ass motherfucker comes start talking shit to you like he's all that, all you gotta do is tell him, hey buddy, when was the last time you saw your penis? Because guess what? Just because you're fat doesn't mean that you get to talk to people like shit. And I can't make fun of you back. That's just how that works, I'm skinny, I'm short, I get no bitches. If I come up to you and I start talking shit about your mom, you know what you gotta say? You got no hoes! That's all you gotta say. Because guess what? I don't have the right to just walk up and talk shit to people. So it's understandable. You're not allowed to just make fun of people for no fucking reason. But that should go across the board. There's no special need for fat people. There's no special need for young people or for people with a disability. And everybody wants to take all these special things and just make it normal society. So that's where you kind of get this idea, and where it all stems from, is the idea that they're special. There's things that you can ban that aren't illegal, but there are also things in this world that should be illegal that aren't illegal, and we socially unaccept without knowing why we never made a law about them in the first place, because it's either too restrictive or it would be too vague to enforce. It's a very simple understanding. Also, because we have freedom of speech in the fucking country, so you can't tell people what they can say except for under certain very understandable, specific circumstances. You can't scream fire in a fucking crowded theater because you can cause panic and people can get trampled. There is stuff that actually puts people at safety risk and is known to put people at safety risk because we've done it for I don't even know how long, and we've known about it for a while. Probably as much as they've had movie theaters, but there's like other laws and shit as well. This is a safe place to be, boys, so hit them goddamn boys down there, because that's a fucking BTR. Oh, we're getting hit. Everybody's getting hit hard. Oh, he's over here. He's over here. He's up front. He's up front. He's gonna die.
Crazy. This is a nice. You don't remember me. That's crazy.
I remember you, RIL. I remember you specifically from your name. You've been.
Nah.
I remember you. No, I remember RIL. Cause your name. I don't remember specifically what match you were in, but I remember your name. Your name is very familiar. I do remember your name. I remember RIL. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know your voice either, though. But I remember your name.
We used to pilot back in the day, me and you.
Oh, you're one of the. Oh, you know what? I think I now recognize your voice, bro. Shit, how you been? Bro, you still out here fucking hitting them goddamn boys in these helis? Chasing down these helis just like I am right now? This boy thought he could touch us. Look at him. Look at him running away. He's on fire. He's on fire. Look at him. Look at my gunners. Look at how good my gunners are. I got good gunners this round. I gotta admit, these are some great gunners. They've been kicking ass out here. Kicking some goddamn ass. It's good to see you back, brother. C4 accidentally planted on the heli.
You too.
I don't think anyone planted C4 on the heli. I think we're good.
Good shit!
But you have all this this crap that becomes words into violence, and people don't see that the origin is this whole naughty words thing. Slurs are understandable, but again, they have to be sayable under some degree, or else you're going to run into the same issue where a bunch of kids are going to grow up. They're not going to know why the fuck you don't say certain words, you say others at a certain age, and they're going to get stupid ideas that will carry over into their adulthood. Or just, oh my god, what the fuck is this? I see about to crash. I thought he was about to crash. Get these boys. Don't let them land on our point. Don't let them land on our point. We ain't having none of that shit. Center spin. They're all on the roof. Kill them all. Kill them all. They're all on the roof. They're all on the fucking roof. Die, boys. Die. Die, motherfuckers. Die. Die, motherfuckers, die! Die, bitches, die! Die, bitches, die! Yeah, that's what I thought, boys. Die, motherfuckers! Die! Hold up, let's not hit this goddamn telephone pole and swing back around. There's some more boys to be taken care of. Yeah, get that guy, get that guy. Shit, left side guard, take over for him. There's a dude in between them buildings. He's got black clothes on. Don't let him touch anything. Let him get fucked up. Fuck them boys up. You ain't taking our goddamn point. This is our objective. This is our objective. The fuck you think this is? This is the Battlebit podcast. You ain't touching my fucking objective. Fuck out of here. We will die in this helicopter, but not today. Not right now. Not at this moment. Later. Definitely later, because you boys are on point. I'll tell you what. The rocket gunner's on point. The repairman's on point. The healer's on point. The gunmen are on point. This is a fucking army in this heli right now. Does anybody need somewhere to go? Does anybody need drop? If anybody needs drop, I'm going to drop you one of these back points. Let me just scan for tanks real quick. Make sure we don't get blasted out of the sky. I got to see what the tanks... Yeah, there's one tank out there. And is there a BTR anywhere at their spawn? No, there's not a BTR. There's two tanks. There's two tanks. Alright, we're going to go down here, and we're going to try to take cover under one of these buildings. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, boys. Alright, hop out if you're hopping out. Just going to let you go here. Nobody's going. Go ahead, go. Alright, here we go. We're out. That's how we do it, boys. We're fucking beasts in this shit. Now, I think another area that people... Another reason that people think things need to be illegal is also because certain things like bullying don't get taken care of by proper authorities like schooling, which is also kind of part of the reason why we had to make it
yo, can you drop me here? Can you drop me here?
I can drop you here. Hold up. I'm bleeding, so I gotta drop you in the woods. I just started bleeding. Oh,
on
man,
this
I'm
roof?
dead.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you're good. Oh,
I'm
shit,
dead.
there's six.
I'm dead. There I go. I told you, boys, we wouldn't die at that moment, but we would die later. And I am certainly dead. But see, you have these weird, like things like where, oh, look, there's another Black Hawk just waiting for us. You have this, like, weird thing, like, where people... They don't get things like bullying taken care of by staff. So they about this? Yeah, I talk about everything. This is the Battlebit podcast, brother. It doesn't stop until I end the podcast. People like... You're in the podcast. Yeah, I'm live on Twitch, brother. This is the Battlebit podcast. We talk about all kinds of topics. What's your Twitch? My Twitch is Battlebit podcast. My YouTube is Sensitive Nannies. I post the clips after they're done there, but I do the thing live now on Twitch. Shit. I ain't know using a podcast. I thought you were like speaking this stuff. Yeah, no. So the idea of the podcast is for everybody to understand. I can talk to a squad and the people in my proximity at the same time as I talk to the chat. So I can run a podcast talking about a topic, and at any time, anyone can hop in to fuck with me or to talk about the topic. From my own team, I can have a little like group of people that are listeners, and then I can have people fucking with me in the real world. And it kind of creates for a really good improv type of podcast content thing going. People seem to really like it. People come from the game, and that's the 90% of people who follow me in the game, or on the Twitch and the YouTube, are people who came from the game. There's some people on the YouTube that have seen shorts that obviously didn't come from the game, but most people that watch me... Oh, there's a BTR! BTR!
Yo! Oh, we're dead! We're dead!
Just run. Nope. He's bad at aiming. He's bad at aiming, and you're good at staying in them trees. Good job. Good fucking flying. Good flying, brother. That was fucking amazing. That was a good use of that tree cover. Fucking phenomenal. Oh, it's RIL. Of course he's on fucking point. I didn't even look at who was flying. God damn, I'm too busy hitting my goddamn weed over here. Fucking drinking me some fucking alcohol. So fucking faded out of my mind. I didn't see my boy RIL. Got them skills like fucking Jagger out here. Boy's flying better than I am. Look at him go. Look at him go. He's fucking a menace in these skies.
Nah, you the best, man. You the best.
Hey, man. I tell you what, you were flying definitely better than I was at clear. Because I was trying to talk to a podcast the whole time while pressing a button right under my WSD. So it's hard for a brother. It's hard for a brother.
So what you got? What you got to do is you got to get a mouse with buttons on it, and then that's what I use right now. It helps out a lot more.
I actually, you know what? I might finally have you now finally gave me a use for one of them. I've always seen them like they feel like they're overcumbering, but for this, that makes sense. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, sir.
I have to try that. Oh, here's a guy. There's a guy. Oh, there's a guy down there. I missed. Oh shit! Right in front of us.
Hey, little bird.
He's right. Yeah, he just. I don't know. I thought he was gonna start shooting out the driver or something, so I tried to let you know. I thought he was gonna shoot out the driver. He just fucked up.
Nah, that's.
Tank right below us. Swing us past him. I'll shoot him. I swung too high. I flicked too high past that tank.
1 second. 1 second, boss. 1 second. 1 second, boss. 1 second.
Oh, there he is.
1 second, boss. 1 second.
Oh, and he.
1 second, boss. 1 second.
No. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. We just keep getting new fucking helis. We just keep getting new helis every time one dies, bro. Every time one dies. Every time a heli dies, we get a fucking new one. It's amazing. I need to take all this. Alright, boys. I want to see bodies piled to the top of that goddamn nuclear fucking tower. You hear me, boys? We gonna pile them high. First things first, they ain't taking Bravo without our fucking permission. That's for damn sure. Alright, boys. Anyone's dropping? Drop on out. Gunners, to the front. If you can see anyone, shoot them. Alright, we're moving because we're getting sniped. Boys, oh, there's boys right there.
Yep.
Tandem.
Oh shoot!
I didn't think he had a tandem. Oh no.
God damn it!
Shit! I spilled my fucking beer. Well, shit, boys. I spilled my beer. Let me just make sure that there's nothing wrong with the electronics, real quick. Alright, the electronics are good. Let me put this bong back in my goddamn shit. My beer back up where it's got to be. Isn't there a toggle option for the mic? I don't want the toggle option. Why would I want the toggle option? That's what the podcast is for. It's the entire reason I did the podcast, because I realized that people could hear me both in squad and regular chat. So I was like, bro, that's like, oh, we're going to do a fucking podcast run with a tank. I haven't done a tank run in a while. But anyways, I think we get back to topic here. We just had some hella runs. But yeah, no, the whole point of the podcast is that I have to get to clipping some of the podcasts on my YouTube and making shorts. But once I start getting really into it, after I get back all the way up to episode 10, there will be plenty of shorts that will showcase the genius of being able to have people talk to me in-game. I've had like squads of the enemy team gather around my dead body. I've also had people drag me and try to like disturb the podcast. Like I said, I had one dude run up and scream cracker for like 20 minutes. It was funny as shit.
Be careful, there's a lot of people around here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the fuck up away from here. I'm just going straight to the right. I'm just going through A though, because A is I thought A was secure. I didn't realize that people started moving from B. I thought we kept B. I didn't think we lost B. There was people there when I last checked. But Yeah, no, it's just it's a really interesting platform to do the podcast on. Because, like, seriously, I can have a squad of listeners that are listening in. I can have people on the chat that are listening in. I can have people talking to me in the squad, adding in points. And then I can have people on top of that are in the game, either adding points or just fucking with me. I like people trying to break my flow because it helps teach me, like, speech and being able to do speech. Because I want to do public speaking eventually. I've always... Because you know, as you can tell, the guy who starts a podcast obviously has a lot of shit to say. But there's just a lot of topics I feel like people don't talk about. Like, let's say, well, here, I guess the whole idea of, like, bad words with kids and how it gives them the mindset that, you know, of authoritarianism and, like, that their parents are either being overzealous than they should be, giving them a rebellious phase, or they go all the way into it. Like we were talking about how they start to believe that, you know, much more needs to be banned and socially unacceptable and all this stuff, all the way to the point of absolute suppression and non-freedom and stuff like that. But, you know, it comes in many different ways. It's well, let me see if I can just... Wow, okay, never mind, he died. Oh, no. But it's kind of interesting how, like, there's a lot of topics people won't take from certain angles. I think the bullying and the school shooting one is another one. I've always wanted to talk to people about school shooting stuff because I literally was called a school shooter all throughout high school. And, well, no, back up. No, thank you, sir. But I was called a school shooter all throughout high school, and I mean, I've been bullied my whole life. So I understand why people shoot up schools. It's because the kids are dog shit and the parents don't care, right? They just don't give a shit. So, like, I've always wanted to talk to parents about their kids that are being bullied. Go make a stink at the school, confront the other parents, and if you got to, beat their goddamn ass. That's got to be like, wow, I'm surprised that did not hit him. That did not kill him, wow. But yeah, like, if you got to, beat their goddamn ass, because sometimes you're going to just deal with ghetto-ass people, and I don't mean black people, because I know some really ghetto-ass white parents that my dad had to fight because they were fucking drunkards, specifically drunkards. There was these two people that were, like, drunks, and they tried to, like... Oh, he's trying to shoot a tandem, that's what that is. That's what that is. But, like, there's this guy that I used to be friends with, and, like, these kids were, the same kids that were bullying me started bullying him one day because he's friends with me and shit, right? Oh, fuck, I went down the thing. But they start bullying him because he's friends with me and shit. Oh, my God. I can't even see what, see, this is a problem with these fucking, this is a problem with tanks in this game. There's just, like, 30 people shoot me with shells. I can't dodge them all. I can't see where they're all coming from when I'm zoomed in. But, you know, so, like, people, they don't give a fuck about their kids. So these kids, they didn't really, or these parents didn't give a fuck about their kid either. They thought that my dad made him cry when my dad was just trying to figure out what the other kid said to him. And right in front of me, the kid says to his parents, well, no, he didn't make me cry. It was the kids over there bullying me. He said their names, of course, but I'm not trying to say names. Amazing flying, wonderful pilot. 10 out of 10, bro. You deserve to be in the Olympics. I mean, that was just so beautiful. I'm clipping that again. Hey, bro, I think you muted in-game on accident. Anyways, you made a fan. I don't think we see eye to eye on a few things go wrong with anyone who looks at the world with logic first. Hey, feel free to hop in, tell me what you don't see eye to eye on. I'm always willing to take criticism, man. That's how you keep your mind sharp. Okay, so I actually mute. Hey, can anyone hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hey, can you hear me? Do you guys hear me? Hello? I got you, brother. Can you hear me? Can you do me a favor, LeBron? Can you tell me if you hear me? Okay, cool. Somebody just said I muted in game. I wasn't sure. But so these, you know, so that he tells them right in front of him, hey, it wasn't his dad that did it. It was the kids. They were bullying both of us. And, you know, his dad's drunk as shit, so that's why he gets pissed at my dad, because my dad was trying to solve the problem. And in my neighborhood, the way it worked was the parents literally, and this is literally what he said to my dad, let the kids figure it out. And what they don't realize is what that leads to is children beating the fuck out of each other with weapons, okay? Because that's what it led to in my neighborhood. It started with kids would every now and pick up a weapon to get me. But as, like, I grew up, there seemed to be this thing just in general with the youth of my area, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. Everybody wanted to be in a gang. I don't know what the fuck it was like 2013, 2012, 2013, 2011. Everybody wanted to be in a fucking gang. I don't know what the obsession was, but everybody was creating these little kid gangs and shit. And what they would do with them actually is when they'd have a beef with somebody, mostly the white kids. The white kids loved to do this shit because they was pussies, right? So the white kids were basically, because you have to imagine, let's get down real to it, okay? I hope this doesn't seem racist, but the black kids in my areas actually understood gang culture. They actually understood rap. They actually understood gang culture. They had a knowledge about it. They were smart about it. The white kids were just copying them. 1,000% the white kids were just copying them. There were a couple of white kids that had grown up in the neighborhoods with the black kids that were you know, they kind of understood it, but at the same time, those kids were still copying too. There's this one kid that I remember beating his ass in 7th fucking grade because he kept trying to egg me on. He always claimed to be a hood dude. Recently got caught up for fucking being with a gun in the neighborhood we all grew up in. And he always acted like he was part of gang shit and understood gang culture and understood what it was like to come from the streets because his mom died at a young age and he grew up in a slightly ghetto neighborhood. But he grew up in the non-ghetto part of the neighborhood, even though the neighborhood he's talking about, why it's known for being ghetto is because 2 parts of that same neighborhood literally started a war against each other. So I understand why he thinks he's some sort of special, but he never ran with those kids. They never accepted him. He never even hung out with the black kids in his own fucking neighborhood. He came to a school that was 2 neighborhoods over, that was literally a neighborhood of rich white people, right? And it was this weird thing where, like, drugs came into our neighborhood, and those drugs came in at the same time as, like, the whole gang culture stuff, but it wasn't like one led to the other. It's just that kids wanted to be part of gangs because they were seeing it on rap, and at the same time, the high school kids were starting to sell drugs to the middle school kids. And it was this weird combination of, like, 2 worlds that wind up leading to that rich neighborhood I told you about becoming filled with a bunch of white kids basically doing, like imagine if you had, like, gang crime on a scale, like people who bring out, like, ARs or like fucking AKs and they're shooting. These guys will pull up 7 dudes deep with a Glock that's empty and try to shove it in your face. Or they'll pull up with their mom's pink 22 versus like a fucking 45. It's ridiculous. And let me mind you, both of those situations did happen. Both of those situations did happen. I know a drug dealer who literally pulled up on another drug dealer who had beef with him with his mom's pink 22 and got robbed and beaten from it because the other guy, and let me mind you, the other guy was white too. The other guy was a white Jewish kid with red hair. I'm not making this shit up. This shit's the wildest shit in the world. It was some white Jewish kid who was like a junior with red hair, and he fucking... Dude beat the fuck out of this guy, took his mom's pink 22, who was a cop, by the way, took his mom's pink 22, right?
Finish!
And fucking
Finish!
beat his ass and took all his drugs.
Finish!
Because some reason he brought his drugs to a beefing fucking thing. Because again, he was just some dumb imitator. At least the Jewish kid was about that life.
You've
And
captured
you know
my
why?
attention.
It's because the Jewish people used to run mobs. So that kid actually had some
You all
history of
like
his own
mud
family to
tips?
look at.
Fine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Battlebit podcast. This is part 3.
Hello.
We're on episode 11. We're talking about bad words, but I'm telling you local stories about shit that would happen.
Monkey.
I've been blast diarrhea all over that
Monkeys are
life.
cool. I know what he's trying to say, so I'm gonna run the fuck away, but
You're offensive.
see, we're sitting here, we're talking about some shit going on with kids at my school because how it kind of relates into the whole bullying thing, but like specifically where I was, it was like the center of this kind of small but like popular city. So we're a smaller city, but we have like that big city dumbass attitude, right? So again, these kids are getting into the gang culture. The white kids are imitating. The black kids are actually about the life, but the white kids like to jump and shit. So they're like all on that pussy shit, and that's kind of like where I think a lot of that started happening, because there's also other areas where black kids will jump. You know, it's not like a race thing. It's just it happens. I think, here's what I think. I think this, honestly. If you're into gang culture and you also jump people, it's because you like gang culture, but you're not strong enough or like brave enough yourself to be able to handle your own battles. So you make sure you have like a gang of people around you that got your back, so that way you don't have to handle your own battles alone, or you don't have to like 1v1 people. You can have someone else help you take care of it. I think that about any race. Doesn't matter what race you are, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. If you partake in gang culture, either claim it or don't. Right? I've been around gang culture, but I've never claimed it. I've never claimed it. I just know about it because I've been around it. I've hung out with people who do gang stuff. I've hung out with drug dealers. I've done drugs with all kinds of fucking people, right? I've done heavy-ass drugs. I've bought drugs from all kinds of people. It's a random world out there. I mean, if anybody wants to think that gang culture is a black thing, they tried to form their shit like the mobs, and the Hispanics stopped them. So, first of all, they got a lot of their gang ideas from white people, right? We started that shit, Capone, your fucking Italian mobsters. That was the first gangs, first of all. So it's never been a black person thing. That's always one of the dumbest things I always hate. Is they always go, you're talking about gang culture, you're talking about black people. No, I'm talking about the fucking people that ran the fucking casinos and that shit. They just called themselves a mob. They were still gangs, right? They just had a more importance on family. And actually, what you would see is back during those mob days, the white mob people hated black people, so the black people made their own mobs to try and protect themselves from the white mobs, like Italian, Jewish, all that. Because a lot of mobs dislike black people. They considered them like, I don't know. But if you look at any mob movie where they talk about drugs, they always say, "Well, give it to the blacks and maybe another white person race that they don't like," right? So it seems that all the white mobs had a serious thing against black people. So in turn, let's say you have like a white mob that's got all this power with like people, mobilization, soldiers, guns, all this shit, and their entire business operative is to go into neighborhoods and force people to pay them, or else they go, cause those people problems, or they work their way into legitimate business and do the same sort of thing, or strong arm you with politics within those businesses. Black people are obviously going to be because of the way they came into the country, because of their minority, because of the way that everyone disliked them, including regular people all the way back in the 40s and shit, because that's what we're talking about. A lot of people didn't like them back then, so they were particularly vulnerable. So they kind of needed to make their own mob and gang structure to help protect their neighborhoods. And it's kind of where you start to see the origins of actual black gangs and stuff. It has nothing to do with everyone's, why they commit the crime, blah blah. Well, it's because while all the other mobs organized, the mobs that were in black neighborhoods got beaten out by Hispanics. The cartels saw them as a really good opportunity to take over whole neighborhoods of business, like drugs and stuff, without having to face much opposition, because it was known that the black gangs weren't as strong as the mobs and stuff, because they weren't as old. First of all, they didn't come from a different country. They didn't have their mob organized from a different country, because there was many mobs that actually started in a different country and just started a branch over in this country with certain families, right? So they didn't have any ancestral sort of organization like the others did. And at the same time, right, they were already just a weak community because of how America had treated them throughout their entire history. First they were slaves, then they were 3/5 a person, and then, they had to go through the whole civil rights movement, which hadn't even gone through at the time that we're speaking of. So, they already had, serious problems in society. So basically all the other problems in society kind of stacked them on top, and that's why they don't have, organized mobs that, are in the shadows, and you see all these gangs that are just out here shooting people and violent stuff. It's because every time you get a head figure that organizes it, and it becomes less violent and more organized and more under the ground secret, well, Hispanics or even other mobs come in and they kill the guy at the top, and everything just kind of collapses after that. Once you don't have a strong figurehead, for most societies, that's why in times of struggle or after 2 to 3 generations, most countries revert back to some sort of authoritarian dictatorship, because most people need to look to a singular leader instead of multiple, or they can't look at a government system as a leader. They need a person. So especially in a place like gangs where authoritarianism is a top-down system, as soon as you lose the top guy, you're going to lose a lot of your strength, especially if they're really good like the Hispanics were. They would find out the top 10 guys and they'd take them all out because they understood how their own structure worked. And it's really interesting because we were getting off topic here, but I know a lot about all this stuff because I was really interested specifically in why black people were, why they had so much gang culture, why everyone made the statistics of they commit half the crime or whatever, that whole joke shit. I wanted to know why, unlike most people who just go, it's welfare and it's government, it's slavery. You can also look at the fact that the CIA did help the mob push fucking drugs into their territories too. There's all kinds of shit, interesting history around that. But what I find interesting about it is I've been getting into the Roman Christian stuff, like the Roman history, to do for another podcast because I want to talk about Roman history and stuff. And I started seeing a lot of similarities to like mob stuff, mob movies, mob content, and even just real life mob stuff that you read about. And the Roman Empire and like the leaders of the Roman Empire. It's really interesting how these kind of like two systems have like a similar operating curve, or like how the people within them operate similarly, and how they kind of like grab at power similarly. They set up similar types of hits and assassinations and stuff. And it's almost like a mob, but in the Middle Ages. And I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting and stuff. So it's just really cool how there's, I kind of found like that like weird relation of how like people kind of grab power and how we kind of have this almost primal urge to have this sort of top-down, gang-like, assassinating potential enemies and playing political games type mindset. Like the politics of gangs, of, you know, countries, of Roman Empire is kind of like ingrained into our people, like into humanity as a whole. It happens in all countries, all around the planet. It happens in different forms in the same country, from government to gang to business. It's just really interesting how we seem to have this innate need to have a sort of top-down, ruthless, step over the other guy to get your way up sort of system, and how we draw towards it, even if we don't like it. It's just a really interesting fact in looking at how humans operate, especially when you're interested in psychology. But sadly, I don't have any psychology that I understand personally, or that I've read about that specifically relates to this area. I know more about the psychology of poor people than I do specifically gang and psychosis or psychopathic or sociopathic mindsets. I know a little bit about sociopathy and psychopathy as an actual personality trait itself, but I don't know about the widespread of how that plays out into these sort of systems that become part of like Rome and like government and mobs, and how they're all similar, and there's some sort of link there. I would assume there is. I'm sure it's been studied. I just don't have the knowledge on hand. I don't know everything, so that's just... But I do see a similarity there, and I think it has a psychological perspective that I personally want to research after I'm done doing the Roman Christian stuff. And I am going to focus more on the Roman aspect of that research and that history and that podcast, because I've actually really gotten into listening. There's a guy... Actually, I should have it on my phone. I'm going to give you guys this guy on YouTube. He's really good. I want to give you this because it's this guy on YouTube, Timaeus. He's got like this Roman Greek name, Timaeus, on YouTube. He's got 2 little hash marks on each side, but he has an entire like series on Roman history, and I've just found it fascinating listening to it. So I am going to be focusing a bit on the Roman history stuff, but I don't know if it's going to be next podcast or the podcast after that, because I want to do a nice thorough sweep of it. I'm going to listen to his series a few times. I'm going to take some of the sources he talks about and listen to them, and some of the books he says he gets some of his information from, and also see if I can look into the description and see more. So it might actually be a while until we get to that podcast. I was just going to do a basic thing about the basic stuff of Roman Christian history that I knew about already, but I got into like Constantine and before Constantine, and the persecutions and the different emperors and the different perspectives on how to run the Roman economy and how to deal with the different religions and their dedication to their, and I just, dude, it was so fucking good. It's like reading a fucking, you know, book you can't put down. I mean, history is honestly one of the best stories you can fucking, you know, research into, no matter what time period. There's so much interesting shit. So that will be a lengthy podcast probably, and I am going to do a lot of extra research on it, so it may not come immediately, but it should be within the next 5. I've already listened to like 12 episodes of his thing. I just gotta, and they're around the time period I want to talk about, because we are going to stick around the Christian time period, but we're going to talk a little bit about the early empire too. So that's where we're going to stick. We're not going to go past, we're probably not going to go past Julian the Apostate. I think Julian the Apostate is where I'm going to end the first podcast, and if I want to do a follow-up, I'll do Roman Christian history too, and I'll do a follow-up podcast. But, I mean, I love history. I love reading and listening and hearing about history. I should consider making documentaries. Oh, I don't have the setup for that. I don't have the setup. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the. I'm not in the. So, I research as much history as I can find on the internet. I research books. I research whatever I can. But since I didn't like grow up in like a certain like niche of history or like knowing a lot of scholars or people that research it or teach it, I wouldn't know where the best place is to find all the best sources or the varied amount of sources on the same thing. So I wouldn't be able to do a documentary where I am right now just because I don't have the access to the experts and resources or books and sources of the history themselves or the multiple sources. I'd have to really dig in my local library, probably have to talk to my local town council, because you have to consider I'd have to either find on the internet copies of certain books, or I'd have to go or get it somewhere where they made, like they took a historical book or a historical accounting and they rewrote it for like people to research and stuff. So, because you have like historians from, I mean, there was Roman historians. There were Roman historians who wrote entire histories. I mean, Constantine was known for most definitely he changed some of the shit about the history before him. We know that for a fact because there's discrepancies between some of the shit he says and some of the shit that happened before, and there's a lot of contention about whether or not some of that stuff is true. I mean, he said that right out in the thing. He said he doesn't get into the controversies about what is and isn't true. So if the guy that's doing the documentary already on the Roman history stuff can't get into the controversies himself just because he doesn't have all the material on hand, I think I'm gonna have a hard time finding the material. But I plan on making my own cartoon. Because of my own confidence in the idea, how long I've been working on it, how much I know about animation, how much I know about the animation community, the audience, the space, how about it in America alone and around the world, I think my cartoon is going to be a $1 million or $1 billion franchise. Probably $1 million, maybe be able to make it into $1 billion if I hire the right writers. Thank you very much for the revive. But if I hire the right writers, if I get some other good writers, because I'm a good writer. I'm not experienced. I've never been on an official show. I've never written anything that's been official and read by a lot of people. So I'm most definitely hiring other people to help me write. If I can get really, really good writers, if I can get some people that I've never expected to get, I should be able to make a potentially $1 billion franchise. But I know for certain it'll be $1 million. I've thought about the idea long enough. I have a lot put into the characters, to the story, to all of just to make sure it appeals to people. And also, another reason I know it'll blow up is because the entire pitch of my idea, the entire central theme of why I made the idea, I was sick of seeing companies and shows and properties try to go diverse without actually being diverse in the first place. Like, say, Star Wars trying to be extra diverse without being originally about a bunch of white people. It's like, that's what the story was about. You're not going to be able to just change it over to black people like that. I mean, there were black people in the movie and shit. There were plenty of black people. I can't even think of any other race, though, other than white and black people. Because there's Lando Calrissian, and then there's the main cast. And, like, I mean, unless they're, like, under the masks of the Stormtroopers, I can't think of any other races than white and black that were in fucking Star Wars. So, like, I don't know how you're going to diversify that. You're going to make up a bunch of new characters that nobody cares about, and you're not even going to try to tie half of them into the main characters. I mean, that's just bad writing. That's just bad writing. So my idea was, well, do what literally everybody that is a fan of the properties that everybody keeps trying to diversify tells them to do, is just make a new show. Make a new property. And the reason I think they don't do that is because they're bad at writing, and it's easier to pay bad writers less, which is why probably there's a writer strike happening, because they probably have been hiring mass loads of bad writers and giving them old properties, expecting for a guaranteed turnout to that old property, and it's just kind of died out because they can't rely on that business model anymore. But I also think the people that they're hiring are just terrible fucking writers. They're just awful, and I think I could do better with my ass cheeks, honestly. I feel like my ass cheeks could run across a fucking keyboard and write better than some of the shit I see out here. Because, I mean, one of the big issues I've brought up before... Proof? I mean, you can read my shit.
Yeah, proof.
You can read my shit. I mean, I don't got any other proof than read what I wrote. I don't know what else. I don't have it. I'm just saying. That's why I said I think. That's why I said I think. I mean, technically, I'm not letting anyone read it right now because it's still very early in stages. Actually, I should be able to put it up to read soon. Now that I'm thinking about it, I just have to finish the half, at least one half of the trailer. Because I actually, I do have enough audiences I can't have people read it, but I don't have it up publicly because I literally have been hiding it for like 6 years, terrified that if anyone grabs it, because you got to know Hollywood, especially right now, if anyone gets wind of a good idea, what they'll do is they'll take my idea, they'll go hire a bunch of actually good writers and have them redo my idea. And if I ever see that happen, I'm just gonna fucking cry, dude. I'm just gonna fucking cry. I wouldn't be able to. I'd probably kill myself. I'd just cry and kill myself. So I've been very hiding on it. But now that I think about it, I have a load of artists that I've been paying to work on the idea to make like a little shitty version of a trailer, to kind of just present the idea however the hell I can. So I probably could just release it now and people wouldn't be able to take it because I have people that have proof that I've paid them to work on the IP. So I actually probably could release it now. I should do that. I should make a Discord, have it, and link it to the Battlebit podcast so people can give criticism on it. And I personally think just the first, like, I've wrote in the first draft and I'm not happy with it. Like, it's not the final draft for sure. But I even think just that, the story structure, the character structure, and the overall goals of the story is 10 times better than what other people put for their big ideas. The dialogue needs work. I'm not, I can't write 10 out of 10 dialogue. I have no fucking experience, so I'm never going to be able to do that. I can't write you your fucking, what's it called, your Godfather drama. I can't have the perfect, dialogue everywhere or have your Shawshank Redemption dialogue. But I think my dialogue is actually very good for a beginner, but what it's actually better at is probably just setting up the placeholders. Like, the placeholder dialogue that I have now is just really good for putting the direction that you want the characters to go in that scene, the type of things you want them to talk about, the type of topics, the way you want them to talk, how you want the relationship between the two characters to go throughout the conversation, what kind of things are revealed, what kind of subtle things you pick up on. I think that stuff is written at least pretty well. Not perfect, not great, but pretty well, especially for someone who has never, ever released an official project before.
Thanks.
And I'm working on it myself. I leave it open to criticism. I want to hire other writers. I want people to push back on it because I know that's how Star Wars, the original, was so good. I know one of the reasons the prequel was so fucking bad was because he just he just ran wild with his fucking ideas. So I don't want that to happen. And I've even thought of doing, like, storyboards of the entire thing first and then releasing those to, paid subscribers who watch it early and then give feedback on the product. So that way I even have a better, like, test audience than a regular test audience. People that care about the product, that are willing to pay into it to make sure that it gets animated, but also want to make sure that it's of high quality, so they criticize it and they, give me feedback on it. And I don't mind if it's harsh, as long as it's real. You can't just go, "You're a shit writer," and I go, "Well, why? What's so bad? What's so bad about my writing? I need to know. Like, I need to know so I can improve." And you just go, "You're just dog shit, man. You don't even know what a character is." And I just go, Did my writing not? I'm sorry. I assumed I had two main characters. Are those not characters? Was it a lamp? Did I accidentally write about a lamp? You gotta give me something real. You gotta tell me, and it's fine if you go like this, like, "Hey, I didn't really like this character. I felt like they were kind of annoying. They weren't very likable, and they didn't seem to have very coherent dialogue." Perfect. Or they just, with the stuff they said, didn't seem to make sense. You don't even have to use writer words. It's just the stuff they said just didn't feel very realistic. And that's easy. That is perfect feedback. This is exactly the kind of shit you need. But I believe that shit. Wow, I get into these random tangents. Fucking, this is why I have a podcast. But I believe that's going to be popular. So I believe at some point I'll be able to have the space to do stuff that I want to. And one of the things I'd love to make a documentary about is not specifically the CIA pushing drugs into black neighborhoods, but the consequences of that for those neighborhoods afterwards, and how that led into our current stage with black people today, and how it was one of the probably, like, bigger leading factors. Because there's an entire documentary done about how the ex-CIA director and the ex-FBI director, who were around during Martin Luther King's time, actually were very racist, and they thought that he was a communist, so they were trying very hard to get rid of him without, like, killing him. And I think they might have killed him. I don't know. I think they did that, and I also think they killed fucking JFK because he was going along with too much shit. I don't think it was because of the racism shut. I think it was more like he just didn't want to do wars anymore. Partially the racism or the race stuff, but also because he didn't want to do wars. He wanted to have like economic power, all that kind of shit. He didn't like the CIA. He wanted to get rid of them. The Bay of Pigs, all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. But I think it's very possible, very plausible that they could have. I personally believe they did, but I can't say that that's fact 100%. I just think that I believe that based on, just how I know the CIA is. I don't even need evidence for that one, just how I know they are, know the shit that they do, and know how much bullshit they spun about the JFK shit. Because at the very least, we all know they lied about JFK. We can't prove that they killed him, but we can prove they lied. Because all the recent documents they released now tell us that Lee Harvey Oswald was a Secret Service member, became a KGB agent, and then came back to assassinate the president. None of that shit. None of that. I mean, that's literally the... And if you know what I'm talking about, that's literally the plot to Call of Duty Black Ops 1. That's literally the plot to Call of Duty Black Ops 1. If anyone thinks about that for 5 minutes, the current JFK files are literally the plot to Call of Duty Black Ops 1. The only difference is he's a Secret Service member, not a CIA member, and they kind of gave like that character Mason his own little story. But he was a high-ending American agent who got taken by the KGB and converted into a KGB agent, and then was used to assassinate the president. Same thing happened in the fucking game. He was an XS or CIA agent, got taken by the KGB, except he was brainwashed this time. He wasn't voluntarily taken over, and he was used to kill the president. And the worst part is, at the beginning of Black Ops 1, part of the marketing campaign was that they had gotten people from the military to help. JFK wanted to go to space. They got people from the military to help them create that story. So it's very interesting to me that they claim that, and then all these years, this stuff comes out way after the game, and only after like a crazy president dude tried to force it, like after one of our more wild presidents tried to force the files to be released, right? And they still wouldn't release it until the next guy's presidency. Then they release a bunch of blank pages, one-sentence pages, and they basically give you the plot to Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's, to me, that's enough evidence that someone is writing a script, right? Someone is writing a script, but I can't prove what the truth is, right? I can't prove what the truth of any of it is. All I know is someone's writing a script, and they lied. They previously lied, and they're writing a script. Whether the script is what they originally gave us, or what they gave the Black Ops people, or what they gave us now, who knows? But someone's writing a script, and they lie. I can guarantee that. Another thing people don't talk about very much is the way we got into World War I, the cruise liner that got sank, that was us. We killed 300 of our own citizens just to get into a fucking war. Yeah. Well, and that was the predecessor of the CIA that did it, too. So, the idea that these people are trustworthy, nah, fuck no. I'm allowed to believe whatever I want. I can prove that they're untrustworthy. I can't prove what they have done, because they're good at hiding it. I mean, literally one of the plots of modern Call of Duty is, well, you know what I did, but you can't prove it. I mean, seriously. Dude, BO1 Mason suffered so much, he just wanted to be with Reznov. Dude, I know, Reznov was his true love. Everybody wants to talk about representation for gay people in video games, but what about Mason and Reznov? My fucking dream couple right there. I want to see them run off to the sunset on each other, on the same horse, man. Sad. It was very sad. But also, you know what? I want everyone to just think for a minute. Think of how good Reznov was as a character. I want everyone who's listening to what I'm saying right now, if you've played the game of Black Ops 1 and Call of Duty World at War, just take a second to appreciate how good of a character, voice acting, writing, presentation, all of it, design, backstory, all of it. Just think of how well of a made character that was. And just appreciate it for a second. We're gonna have a moment of silence for that while I hit my bowl.
Medic!
God bless Reznov and fuck Stalin for killing him. Alright, boys. But yeah, no, he was an amazing character. Very memorable. Oh, fuck. Very memorable. Very, very good. Well-written character. But also very likable character. Especially, hey man. Oh, fuck! I thought I had my. No, I had smokes on here for my fucking suicide. I was gonna try to impact grenade you, but you're lucky I didn't have them. If I would've just impact grenaded him there, that would've been so fucking funny. I gotta change it back because I'm suiciding on a closed space. But you know, it's really interesting to see how those two fucking events are so similar. A video game plot and a fucking the final revelation of the conspiracy around JFK. So fucking weird. R.I.P. Reznov, man. R.I.P. Reznov. God bless that man. Fuck Stalin for killing him. He didn't deserve it. He was a loyal soldier. He was there when we raised the flag, him and me, together in fucking Berlin, and you throw him in a goddamn gulag. Some bullshit. Some bullshit, man. Some fucking bullshit. But interesting, a little tangent off that. I think one of the reasons characters like him and Captain Price and what's it called? Who's the guy that Captain Soap and one more Ghost? Why characters like them were so very like loved is because their writing was good basic. So they had like little bits of good writing. The way that what's it called spoke. No, wait. The way that Reznov spoke, right? The writing of his character being basic, but also being in depth through the way that he talked about stuff. So a lot of the stuff that Reznov did, like his character that was written, it was pretty basic, pretty baseline. It's almost like tropey to a sense, but the way he delivered his lines, the way he talked about his struggle, the way that he was voice active, they obviously knew what they were doing with the voice of the character, because sometimes the best policy is to keep it basic, so that way you don't get too complicated and you don't leave too many open questions. So keeping that sort of basic, almost stereotypical type of character, while still giving him depth about the real events of World War II and the way he talks about it, beautiful. I mean, you can't beat that. The same goes for Captain Price in Soap, except they leaned a little heavier into the more complicated storytelling, with the overarching story being complicated, but the characters being simple and likable, because they were badasses who, you know, they dealt with their shit, they fucked people up, and they kept going to do it. And they also, if you remember to a degree, they added little bits that made the characters care about the good. Like they made sure the characters came off as caring about the greater good. When they'd have their arguments with higher ups, when they would talk about, you know, shit, when they would go into like the slums. But there's a couple, I can't remember the exact mission, but there's a couple missions where they talk about like the area you're at. I think one of the ones is when you're driving in to a spot in a Humvee and your Humvee gets hit by RPG. They're like talking about the slums in the country and how they feel about it. That kind of stuff was basic but added depth to the character. And it's because mainly the way the characters were voice acted, and I'm certain you know the writers knew what they were dealing with, because they probably met the voice actors first, because there's no way they didn't. They might have imagined the characters of Price, Reznov, Soap, but the voice actors, maybe not Soap so much, but more Ghost, made those characters. And when they picked them, every time you pick a voice actor, and I know this from writing experience personally, as I've actually gotten to pick a voice actor, when you pick a voice actor, you have to change your dialogue. If you pick a voice actor after you write your dialogue might as well not be final. You might as well be like on the third draft, because your person that you have picked to represent that character in your show, in your game, in your story, they have a job to embody that character in ways that not even you thought you understood them. They have to understand the character better than the writer. So the writer gives them a picture of this character, right? They give you an overall picture, they give you a bit of details, backstory, and in that, the actor kind of steps in and imagines, well, what would it be like? And this is kind of how you do it. You imagine what you would do, your person would do in their situation, sort of. Some actors go a little bit harder into the method acting and try to really imagine themselves as that person. Some people have an in-between where they imagine what that person would think themselves, how they would think if they were in that position, and then combine the two. Some people just go with how they would think. It depends on the character you're playing or the way that you act. But what you do is you take a time to either step into that person's shoes with your own brain, try to think of what they would be thinking with their brain, or you combine the two. And that's why the actor will change the role and why you have to change the dialogue, because they will begin to understand or even just create things that you possibly could have never come up with, because you don't have to sit down and try to be this person. You have to try to think of this person and think of them kind of from a third person and a first person point of view, but because you're their creator, you'll never be able to arbitrarily walk into someone else's description and embody it. When you, as a person, describe something to someone as a concept like a character, and they have to come into it, what they're doing is coming to embody that character while you created that character, and they're two totally different things. One person thinks about how that person thinks and has a good idea of it and can think of it from a more technical point of view. The other person kind of feels what the character feels because they put themselves into that character's situations, especially when they're acting. When they're acting, they are trying to really indulge themselves or indulge themselves into the role and feel like they are experiencing what the character is experiencing. And when you do that, you will always have a better idea what that character is thinking or how they think or what they would do than the writer would. Bad actors won't be able to do it to that degree, but any good actor, not great, but good actor will be able to do that. And that's just a fact. Now we're going to do our podcast intro. Oh, what the hell? No, I don't have a squad, that's why. Oh shit, I didn't mean to disconnect. I didn't mean to disconnect. Well, I'm gonna just have to go back into it. I did not mean to disconnect. I meant to fucking respawn. I'm an idiot. Where was it? Was it this one? Oh, yeah, it was Infantry Conquest. Yeah, this is the only old map. It was this one. But, see, the problem, with trying to, I guess, like, put walls around an actor who's acting a character, you can't do that because then they can't have the freedom to create parts of the character themselves. And they create it totally different from you. They don't sit around and think about it. They do it. It's an impulse. So once they start to get into the flow and motion of the character, they start to impulsively do things that the character would do. That's why you can't try to inhibit your actors, and they're an important role in trying to do this thing. We're not even going to do the fucking intro because we were rambling too long. We'll just keep going. But you know what? We've been going on this random tangent for quite a while. I think we should try to wrap back around to the original topic. We should try to wrap back around to the idea of bad words. And I think a good way to combine the two. Let's talk about bad words in movies and TV. Okay? One of the dumbest examples, one of the greatest examples of the stupidity of foul language is, this idea, right, of like the rating system having to count the number of swear words or bad words. That's ridiculous. Why can't you just have a light swearing, a heavy swearing, where you have a certain number of words that you stay under, a certain number of words you go above, and then you have no swearing, right? And you can have 3 different ratings right there. But you know why they probably did it? They don't want to confuse anybody because people are dumb. That's why you never go full. That's why you never go full retard. God damn it! Hold on. Allow this man. Allow this damn man to say retard in my chat. I am personally retarded and take no offense to the word. I'm retarded. What the fuck am I gonna do about that? I was born retarded. What am I gonna do about that? Nothing. That's exactly what. Yeah, there's always a limit. You're right. There's always a limit, right? There is always a limit. That's why I said.
Shut up.
You have a certain number of words that you can say and a certain number of words that you can't say, and you can have it numbered up higher. But the problem is that it should be a certain number you go over. It should be like 2 or like 1. It's understandable if you're targeting kids with your movie, but if you're making a movie that isn't for kids, but still, is going to have little or going to have lesser swear words or be under a certain rating, just because it's not for kids, or just because it's like has that rating, doesn't mean it should be silenced to a degree, because it's especially if it's not for kids. I think the rating system is just flawed. It's completely flawed. You have to think about the fact that we created these rules in the place of like Christian panic, right? So like it's this whole Christian that's what they call it, satanic panic. Fuck, I forgot what it was called. That's what it's called, satanic panic. We have to remember we had a thing in history in America called satanic panic, where we got really upset about Satan taking over our
Shut up!
And it's a stupid idea because it comes from a religion that, I mean, sure, if you want to believe it, that's fine, but should have no base in real-world ethics, because we're literally a country that says you have freedom of religion, and religion shouldn't affect politics. But that doesn't stop us.
Talking about religion and politics.
Yes, I am, brother. It's the Battlebit podcast. And I'm not specifically talking. Well, I mean, I'm talking about them, but not like anything too specific. We're talking about TV. We're talking about movies and how satanic.
We don't care. We don't want to listen. We don't want to listen.
There's a mute button.
We don't want to listen.
For when I'm talking, you can press F1.
Shut the fuck up.
And you can
Shut the
mute
fuck
me.
up.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Everyone
Shut the
here
fuck
comes
up.
and says, "Shut the fuck up." Do something
You have
creative.
nothing.
Hey,
Your
I'll give you an
topics
example.
are lame. Your topics are lame. Jesus, talk about something better.
He just came and screamed cracker.
No one cares.
No
one cares.
I mean, you gotta
I
come
don't
up with
care
something
if you. I
better
don't
than this, man.
care.
This is
Yeah.
good material.
How about you come up with a better fucking podcast?
I mean, I got please.
You have shit topics. You're boring. You're boring.
What's boring
No,
about the
no
podcast?
one's
What's shit
listening.
about
No
it?
one's listening.
What's shit about it?
I'm the
Give
only
us
one.
detail.
Every
Let's criticize
topic.
in detail.
Every topic.
Why?
Every
Why?
topic.
Why?
Talking about movies.
Why?
Who gives a fuck about a movie?
Nobody gives a fuck about movies, and why do
Because
people
it's
watch
boring and
them?
we're playing the
Then
game.
why do people watch them, brother? Why
No
do
one's
people watch
watching your
movies?
movie review. No one's watching your movie review. No one's watching your movie review.
On Twitch.
No.
I don't have 40 viewers on my podcast on YouTube. Not at all. No.
No, it sounds about you have
Holy
3
shit,
bot
bro, I need
viewers.
to
Yeah.
talk to a doctor. I must be fucking hallucinating. Have I really been sitting here talking to myself?
Oh, you're so
Holy
funny.
shit!
Oh, this is your
Holy
content.
shit, bro.
No, you got your
Holy
content.
shit! Yo, does
Oh my God.
anybody? Does anybody know?
You got it.
Does anybody know a nice big black guy? Because I like to shove his dick inside this guy's mouth because he doesn't seem to have anything more creative than I do.
Oh my God, he's such a funny,
He's
funny
such a
Twitch
funny,
streamer. Oh my
such
God, so much
a
jokes.
funny Twitch
So many
streamer.
jokes.
Wait, dude,
So
come
many
on.
jokes.
Come
So
up with
much
a better
jokes from this
content.
guy.
Everyone in fucking Twitch chat says that. Come on. Give me something good. Give me something funny. That's why I do this podcast like
Hey,
this. So
loud
you can
is
say
not.
something
Being
good.
loud is not
I'm
content.
not, that's not content. I'm
Being
just
loud
being
is
loud
not
'cause I'm
content.
getting excited in my language. I'm
Bro, you
using a
started being
or a vocal projection.
Being loud is not content.
I never said it was. I don't know why you're claiming I said it was. It's not content. Come on.
Why are you claiming the Earth
You need
flop?
to come up with better content because the entire reason I made a podcast on this fucking shit was so that people could talk to me and say funny shit. But no one could come up with anything else but you have no viewers and shut up. That's the best anyone could come up with. I mean, where's the creativity? Where's the fucking pizzazz?
Well, I mean, you hear it enough times, it must be true. You hear it enough times, it must be true.
I mean, sure. I mean, you can repeat, you can repeat so many things over and over, but I mean, that technically doesn't make them true. I mean, like, I could say your mom's gay and she never had
You
but that
have
doesn't
a
make it true.
special-
I could say that Christ is real and
you have
God's going to
something
strike
special.
you down, but that doesn't mean I literally said earlier I was retarded. So we all know. We don't need your confirmation for that. My
No,
doctor is good
not
enough.
special like that. Not
No, I'm
special like
definitely
that.
special
You
like
have
that.
something special, because somehow, somehow you made me feel bad for you.
Make me feel bad? Why do you feel bad?
You made me feel bad for you.
You're not even on my self-hate podcast. What do you feel bad about?
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for you.
Sorry for what? I'm having a good time. I'm
Like,
chatting with people
that's
in
an
chat
honest.
that are
I'm actually
I'm
honest
having a
when I
good
say
time
that.
with. I like doing these podcasts even when people talk shit because
I don't
to
even
talk
mean
shit
that
back
in a
and
bad
forth.
way. That's the
like,
funny
what is
thing.
there to feel bad about? I'm doing good. What have I said to you that's made you feel bad for me? I don't get it.
You have a somber tone in your voice right now, and this makes me sad.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess that's fair. I can't really, I guess it's kind of up to everyone's opinion what my tone is and how it makes them feel. So, I mean, that's a fair point.
No such thing as an opinion.
No such thing as opinion. So what? You can't have opinions? Or opinions not real?
Yeah, talk about that.
Now we're getting
What
into
are your opinions about
now
that?
you're getting creative. What is? I want to hear this. What is your philosophy around
What?
being no opinion?
No. This is your show. What is an opinion?
Well, an opinion is what somebody thinks about a topic that may or may not be based in fact. It's just what someone.
But
thinks
what
about
if your opinion go against facts and you're like, that's still my opinion.
Well, that's what
Technically,
that's what
it's
makes it an
opinion
opinion.
still.
That's what makes it an opinion, brother. Is the fact that it can go against facts.
What if
It
their
can be
opinion
factual
is
or
they
not
don't believe in
factual.
facts?
Well, it's an opinion. It can be. You can call it a stupid opinion. But hey, maybe there's a planet where no one believes in facts, and maybe they're the ones that zip around in our skies all the time. Who knows? You know, maybe facts don't exist. Maybe I can be a helicopter if I want to be. You know.
There you go.
Maybe
That's
facts aren't real.
We're getting there.
Maybe nothing's real. Maybe
exactly.
maybe I'm not real.
Exactly.
Maybe you've been
You're
talking
getting
to
it.
no one
You're
this
getting
whole time. Maybe you've been talking to yourself. Maybe you're sitting in a lone room with a rubber padding and you're talking to yourself all alone. But we'll never know because it's just an opinion. God, I've waited so long for this shit. I rarely get people like this. All right, you got anything else creative? Anything else you can do?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
That's right. That's out of top 10. That's top 10 funny shit.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo,
That's
where
top 10
are
funny
you?
shit. That's funny. I like that. That's good shit. See, that's the kind of shit I made this podcast for. I made this podcast because I can talk to people in my squad and in proximity, and they can fuck with me while I'm talking about a topic. And that right there, sir, what you have just done is what I call creativity. More creative than anything I've said in the last 2 hours. I'll give you that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, well, we're going to go back because he doesn't seem to be adding anything else. He might hop in a few more times and try to break the flow. I welcome it. I hope it. I'm not going to mute the guy because he actually engages with me instead of just screaming shut up 40,000 times. I like that. That's actually fucking funny. But we were talking about movies, and we're going to read the chat here because I'm out of my shit-talking focus. I mean, I heard people make the argument that there is no such thing. Oh, wait, here, no, we're all the way up here. I think why some kids' movies like The Princess Bride became timeless because those movies did explore darker subjects. I'd feel. Oh, wait. I think my thing's out of fucking focus. Now, I want you guys to know, while we're not talking in game, every time someone comes to try and fuck with me, they always fail because they, like, stop talking at some point or they, like, run out of room to talk, but I can just keep going. It's like, that's definitely a talent. I'll give myself that. But it's just interesting that I've never, I want somebody that can keep up with me, you know? They can keep going. I love that back and forth, that shit talk back and forth. It's one of the fun things about it. No one ever keep going. I don't know why. Everyone just, like, loses their fucking flow. I don't get it. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're back. I think that why some kids' movies like Princess Bride became timeless because those movies did explore some darker topics. I'd make them feel it'd make them feel more real. Yeah, if they did deal with swear words or they swear like real people, it would make them feel more real. I also think another problem is like we don't fucking just like I can tell a kid what every swear word means except for fuck. Like, I can tell a 3-year-old what every swear word means almost except for fuck. Like, asshole is just your ass. A jackass is a donkey, right? A cunt is just a woman's thing. I mean, you maybe you keep that from certain genders for till they're like, double digits or whatever the fuck, or when you feel like they're ready to hear it. But, I mean, for the most part, you can explain to kids what most swear words mean other than, like, fuck. You know? It's not something that they can't know what it means. It's just considered like a stupid, dirty word for that, which is another reason why bad words are just stupid. It's like if they're allowed to hear if this means a word that they're allowed to know that's not bad, then why is this word bad? It's because it's the way it's said, right? It literally ass and butt. It's literally the way it's said, right? Ass is a swear word because it's a bad way of saying butt. So stupid and arbitrary. So fucking retarded. And exactly why kids have rebellious phases, why they think everything's a lie, why they're all fucking running around screaming about you can't say this, you can't say that, you should lose your job over this, you should lose your job over that, you should get canceled for this. Because they think if something feels wrong to me, it must be wrong. I wonder if it relates back to that idea of, all humans know what is wrong, and they take this literally. Like, they come out and say, well, if I feel it's wrong, it has to be wrong, and anyone else who doesn't feel it's wrong is evil. I feel like that's what position gets taken a lot of time, especially with something like the fat people thing, where they say if you call someone fat who is fat, right, it's violence in words. You know, that doesn't make much sense. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, I heard people make the argument that there is no such thing as truth. I've heard. Yeah, so it's true. There could. I mean, that's a philosophical argument though. That goes all the way back to like the Greek philosophers and shit. I wouldn't know crazy. I'm not extremely versed on the Greek philosophers, but they're pretty much the origin of all philosophy, and I guarantee they would have, like, if you looked in history, there'd be something about what is and isn't truth, or the idea of truth itself. There's probably even a philosophy out there. Like, if you ever heard the Mandela effect, there might be a philosophy that's almost like the entire idea of the Mandela effect, where like slight things are different. And it's the idea that there is no truth because everything is changing constantly all the time, or you're hopping between dimensions, like some people say for the Mandela effect. It could be like that, you know. That's a pretty interesting thought. It could be like there could be like a whole philosophy base around that. But I wonder how that would operate for the laws of physics, because it would seem that every universe that we're in the laws of physics.
Shall we do? Build a fort, it's time to go and kill.
He's got good timing. This guy's got some fucking, he's got some potential, man. You should add me, bro. You should hop on another podcast sometime. No one ever keeps up the shenanigans. They scream shut up for 5 minutes, or they try to argue with me for 5 minutes, and then they leave when they can't beat me, and I just keep going. I like this guy. He's got some persistence. I'm pretty sure he's the only person.
I gotta tell you about this. I've been laughing my ass off all morning thinking about this, because it'd just be so fucking hilarious. What if we had sex like we were a boy and a girl, but like we aren't? Wouldn't that be really funny? Wouldn't it be fucking put girly clothes on me and fucking bullied my ass, dude? Ha ha ha, I'm giggling, dude, because like, we're both straight, but like it'd be so funny. Dude, imagine how much you'd laugh if I was on the bed moaning like a little bitch getting fucked. Wouldn't that be the best joke ever?
I need this. This is
oh my
such
god,
good
dude.
spam.
I can't. I'm losing it out here. It's so fucking hilarious. And like, you start calling me a girl because it's hilarious and the best comeback ever, and it makes me cry and moan and like, dude. Imagine how hilarious it'd be when you fucking bust a gigantic sloppy load into my fucking fat ass and keep fucking my wet slippery pussy, dude. I'd laugh so goddamn hard. You're the most funny guy ever. I can't wait to laugh my ass off while it's flopping and slapping against my wet-covered asshole. You're hilarious, dude. I love you. You're funny.
I can't find it. Oh, shit, I tried to look that up on YouTube. I can't find that. I wanted to add that to my anarchy file, bro. That shit is hilarious. What is that? What the fuck is that? I might have to like look it up on Google. That is funny. What the fuck was that? Is it like it's gotta be like some sort of copy pasta. That has to be some sort of copy pasta. Buddhists also talk about truth. See, Buddhist is one of the few religions I don't know a lot about. I know more about Islam. Well, I mostly know about Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, because they all branch from the same thing, and they're a lot easier to research in order, or in like throughout the same history. But I didn't know that Buddhists philosophize about truth. That's a good point, Lorax. That's a good point. Yeah, well, there's a famous quote, right? I'll probably misquote it, because you know what? I've seen it like 12 different places, but my ass is high and drunk at the same time. I ain't gonna fucking remember what the fucking exact quote is. But it's like trying to waste your time fighting or proving truth to someone who is ignorant is like something else, but it's like the whole point is it's a waste of time, because people won't accept something that they don't believe to be true. You can show them all the facts you want, you can show them all the shit you want, but they will not. They will refuse to see the truth. I mean, I think they quote people in fucking YouTube comment sections. Is that common of a quote? I'm just too stupid to fucking remember it. I know though. The world we live in is about to have a lot less truth in it. if they can ever get them fucking, if they can ever get those AI deepfakes working properly. Oh, dude, I love all the content, like the presidents playing games together. That shit is one of the best shits to come out of that. But if they ever do get to the point Like if you see the Harry Potter Gaines series, where it's like Harry Potter, but their entire magic structure is actually like, I think it was fashion versus lifting or some shit. Like lifting was magic and like dark magic was like fashion. So like you'd have like one person with like Gucci and Balenciaga, and then another person, and then like Harry and the main crew would be doing like they have like be like really ripped and shit, and they do these like AI faces, which are actually pretty decent for what they are, of making the characters look like they're talking. But God, oh dude, that shit's fucking hilarious. But if they ever like get that to work properly, oh my God, dude, that shit is scary. We're all fucked. They're gonna have me saying shit that I've probably said in private. You know, that's not good. They're gonna have us all saying shit we said in the group chat. You know that. The group chat's gonna become fucking reality. You're gonna have like group chats leaking shit, and then people are gonna go out and make deep fakes of the person that the group chat leaked from, like actually saying the things from that shit. Oh my God. Oh, speaking of which, did anybody hear that an actual group chat got leaked about ex-cops in the United Kingdom and they got arrested for it? So the meme came true. It was prophecy all along. It was great. It's beautiful. I love it. I honestly expected Canada, Australia, or China first, but I didn't think we would see it if it was China. I was pretty sure that China would never let that kind of shit see the light of day, but I knew we would see it if it was Canada or Australia. But I'm surprised it was the UK first, because I'm pretty sure that Canada or Australia was the place where they literally arrested a pregnant woman and dragged her out of her home because she said she didn't like the COVID lockdowns on Facebook or some shit. Like, that shit was wild. That shit was wild. You know what? We got off track earlier. I actually want to... My ADHD brain wants to swing back around to that idea of bad words and the whole arbitrary censorship system they did for, like, content media and radio show stuff. Because the radio show shit, they made it so you can't say anything at all. Like, you can't do shit. Like, you have to censor words in songs, dude. And I'm like, I understand, like, there's a certain level to which protecting your children is okay, but we have to realize that things are kind of like the internet. They're gonna see them eventually. It's whether or not you give them the guidance to see them or not. Like, it's okay to prevent, you know, kids like under 5, 6, 7 from seeing shit as much as you can. But at some point, you gotta give either a bullshit explanation, or you have to make up an explanation that's very close to the actual explanation, but doesn't actually give them any explicit type answers. Like, say, for sex or drugs or, you know, shit like that. You're gonna have to find a middle ground where you can talk to them about it, right? Or you can explain it to them to get them off your back, or just explain it to them partially. I think the best way to do it, though, honestly, is to just tell them, well, I'll tell you when you're this many years old, so they can wait. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, well, I'm this many years old now. Can I know? Okay. You know, I think that's the easiest way personally, but I know everyone's not going to do it like that, so, you know, I think another good way is tell them a bullshit story, or tell them a bullshit story that's close to the truth, and then correct your misunderstandings and say, well, I did it because you weren't old enough to know yet, and that's simple enough. But I think where the problems is a lot of parents, they never give you an age that you are kind of old enough to know these things. They never tell you when they're going to tell you these things, right? And so kids will go out and look for that information on their own, and that's where the issue comes in of them not having any guidance. I think sex is the biggest thing like this. Like, for all of human history, kids as a general thing have started having sex between the ages of 11 and 13. So the fact that we didn't have from the get-go, a very well-structured and non-biased or non-satanic panic version of sex ed around those ages is the dumbest thing we've ever done in education. The most retarded thing. I mean, people don't even know what consent means anymore. It's gotten so fucking bad. So I think an easy way to fix that is just add some good sex ed somewhere between those ages, right? Somewhere between 11 to 13. And don't center it around making them be afraid of sex. Center it around safe sex. Center it around not necessarily rejecting sex, but trying not to be a horn dog, trying to, limit yourself a bit and not be fucking every 10 minutes, because that's something you're going to want to tell kids, because they're going to be horny like rabbits when they first start fucking. So in the health class, you're going to want to tell them, hey, it's okay to have sex as long as you do it safely, but you should also try to refrain from constantly having sex. It's not something you should be overdoing at all. You can hurt yourself. You can give yourself infections. Not even like diseases, but just straight infections. And it can also hurt your ability to do it later on in life. If you jack off too much or you flick the bean too much, you can hurt your ability to feel pleasure as well. There's a lot of possible side effects that can come from a problem of just fucking too much. You can also get a bad rap on what sex is and not understand it that well. They also need to explain the emotional side of sex. So like trying to prevent people from knowing about sex, and especially the words around sex. I mean, look at what you're going to have. You're going to have a bunch of sexually inept morons that have no idea what the fuck's going on. Kind of like this. Oh, no, he's smart. He put a landmine genius. That guy's got 9,000 IQ. I thought he was retarded. But, it's just, you're going to eventually give the kid issues. Like, no matter what you do, you're eventually going to give the kid some sort of fucking issues. I was hoping to blow up. I guess the front is the way you got it. You gotta hit it in the front because that's where the engine is. I didn't realize that. I thought it was the back for those ones, but it's the front for those ones. That's interesting. It's kind of cool. But you have like this issue where let's say fuck. Here there was I saw this thing scrolling through YouTube where I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but some people on YouTube were complaining of some dad was complaining about his 13-year-old son dating a 15-year-old girl who was about to be 16 soon, or whatever. And I was like, well, okay, I mean, I understand your immediate problem with that, but my immediate thoughts were: have you met the girl? Have you talked to her? Have you met her parents? Have you asked your son anything about her? Do you have you had the conversation with your son about sex? And it seems like he had. He said that he told his son that he should wait and that he shouldn't, have sex too early. Which is good advice. But he literally was making the point, well, my kid's not going to listen to me anyways. And it's like, that is a good point. So far, everything's great. And then his next statement was, so I'm going to make sure I can do everything possible to make sure he never has sex with this girl. And I was just like, are you fucking retarded? Are you brain dead? Number one, okay, you have one of two scenarios here. One, good scenario. The girl actually likes him, maybe has experience with one or two other people, right? And is willing to have, give him his first experience and be good about it because she actually likes him. That's an amazing position to be in. You can't ask for anything better from a man or a woman when it comes to dating your whoever for the first time, daughter or son. That's what you want. It doesn't matter if they're a couple of years older. They shouldn't be like 17, 18. But 15 just turned 16. That's around 2 years. That's all right. You're a little bit higher on the end, so I understand why you're But have you met the person? Have you talked to them? You've had the sex talk with your son, so he's already knowledgeable. I mean, you should have hopefully told him about how one of the reasons he should wait is because he should do it with someone that it's about emotion and not about getting off. But I don't know what your specific circumstances are, but at the very least, he's had a conversation about sex, and you've tried to tell him he should wait because it's not good for him in the long term, and he's gonna get a bad idea about sex. Double good. And then you want to completely prevent him from ever having sex with this girl or try to like get in the middle of the relationship. It's like, no, you need to sit them the fuck down and talk to them like a human being and be like, look, I understand y'all might fuck. That might happen. Okay? I want to get a couple things out of the way. I want to make a couple things clear, and I want to have my peace. Because I can't watch you 24/7 unless I lock you in a room. And you know what? Things might happen outside of my supervision that I can't control. And I want to make sure that I've at least tried to talk to you about it before something like that happens, even if I don't want it to happen. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That's what you say. That's what you tell them. And you're good to go. You're good to go. Would you know that? You're good to go because then you can have the conversation. It's not awkward. Both parties understand each other. It's not, it will always be a little awkward, but it's way less awkward. Right? And it's like, I understand not every what to
if you
do.
get shot in
but
the
the fact
penis,
that
you
no one
need
else has
someone
come
to
up
suck
with a
the bullets
script for
out.
this, and I can basically come up with one on the spot, makes me look at everybody else like, what is going on?
I got you, bro. I got you, bro.
We can apply this to all. This could be like a base thing parents do.
If you get shot in the penis, you need to suck the
anytime
bullets
your
out.
kid starts dating at the sexual age,
Thank
that could
you.
be the script.
Only if you do it for me.
And then you have your conversation.
You right, bro? You
What
right.
say? Talk about. I can give you a script for that too. I can tell you how to talk about emotion. I can tell you how to talk about safe sex, all that other shit. But we're gonna do our intro real quick because we actually have a chance to. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Battlebit podcast. It's your boy. We're here at episode 11. We're talking about bad words and concepts that we try to hide from people and how it leads to people not wanting freedom anymore.
It's your boy.
And yeah, this is like part 5, part 4, because the last part was part 3. And yeah, we're just gonna go back into it. So we were talking about currently we're at the age of like when kids start getting into sexual shit and what the ideas that parents should probably look into for doing, like how they should handle it. And we were talking specifically about a case on YouTube where a father was talking to a YouTube short or whatever and talking about how his 13-year-old son was dating a 15-year-old girl who's going to be turning 16 soon, and he obviously had some concerns and stuff. But he kind of made a whole point that he wants to make sure that they never have sex in their relationship, and that he completely prevents it. And I was making the point.
Shut the fuck up.
That what you got to do is you have to actually have a conversation with the kid, because it's going to happen outside of your purview, whether you like it or not. And it's sort of how kids get into this stuff and they end up with bad ideas, is because people are afraid to talk about it. And I can kind of come up with my own little, offhand script where I can be like, hey, look, you come to your what's it called? You come to your kid, you be like, look, I understand, you guys are dating and you're at that age where you might fuck. You might have sex, and it might happen outside of my parental bounds or my parental purview. Suck the bullet out of his penis and get him healed, boy! I want to sit down with both of you and have a conversation about it, get my piece said, and things that I think you need to know or things that I think need to be said before any of that happens. You probably want to talk about how you need to lean into the emotional experience of sex, or else you're going to start seeing it as a pleasure thing, and it's just not good because it's always tied up in emotions, no matter if you're male or female. You could talk about, make sure that you actually talk with you actually like the whoever's first time, or if it's both people's first time, that this is the person you want to have your first time with, right? And that you have somewhere to do it that isn't some fucking back alley, right? So you're not fucking with anybody's, anybody's feelings in their head or whatnot, right? So I think that's kind of, I'm not gonna go through a whole script here because it's not. I think we'll have a topic maybe about how to talk to your kids about sex, because I was a kid recently. I can remember it quite well, and there's a lot of shit I specifically told myself to remember because I wanted to talk about it when I was older, because I think there's a problem with parenting and all this shit, and they don't have a book on it or whatnot, or at least a general set of things you can do in a situation that may not fit yours, but it'll at least fit a bunch of people's, right? It'll at least fit enough of them that it helps. I think that honestly, the shit I said with that script on how to talk to your kids about dating and that first time around sex, you just come out with that shit. You just say it straight up.
How do you keep talking?
Because I'm talented. I have the gift of gab, my friend. I don't shut the fuck up, and I love the sound of my own voice. What do you have to say about that? Tell me.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, you know what? Thousands of other people have said that, but the 8 people watching me right now, the 24 people that have followed me, and the 30 that watch me on my YouTube, they like what I have to say, so I'm going to keep talking for them because it's not about the views, it's about the fun. Boom. I love this shit. These people are so easy. I want that challenge. I miss Dark. I need Dark again. He needs to come back. I miss him, man. I'm happy this. Well, yeah, I want squad mic spam. I don't like people screaming shut up at me, but I like the fact that I can hold the mouse button and they don't ban me. That's obviously amazing. Because now I can sit here. I think it also works, though. I think the reason it works is because you need to be able to talk to people in your proximity as well. So, like, and people for, like, dead bodies especially, they allow you to talk more. So that's why it's probably is a good thing. Hey, man, like 30 other people have said that. Can please, somebody...
There's a thing called the mute button? You wouldn't know it, though.
Thank you, man. I love you, Silver. Can you say some shit talk stuff that's actually creative to me? Give me something, man. Anything. damn it. I just want someone to be creative. I don't mind if you talk shit. I want it to be funny. I'm gonna brainwash my friends to watch you. You know what, man? I will appreciate that with monetary compensation. You stay a long time viewer to me. When I can give you money, I fucking will. I'll give you money. You'll be my moderator or whatever the fuck, or like my #1 viewer, and I'll give you money. If you actually like bring a bunch of people to come watch me, that's so nice. Cause like I appreciate that. I don't care if we never get past 10 viewers, but that's appreciate that you like me speaking so much that you would do that. That's appreciative. I don't like doing I'll probably, if I ever become big, I would probably never read every single thing of the fucking, I'd probably have like a policy where like I do the videos on talking or like giving like special thanks to those people. Because I don't like the idea of, oh yeah, they're following, they're giving money, but I have to, unless it's like a voice message, which I like because they talk to me. When people do that, they're not giving me any interaction. So like I'm stopping the flow and the content for everybody else, and maybe even minutes at a time if I get like a bunch of follow people. I personally would really like to set up a thing. I wish Twitch had something like where I can make streams that were specifically for these people or something. Or like when you follow, right? Like let's say like we gather up 100 followers, and then the next stream is like all about those 100 followers, like directing my play or something in a game or doing something cool, interactive. Because I feel like there's no way to like interact. I like interacting with the audience. That's why I love this content, bro. Because you get to interact with people, and people that watch you in game, they can come in, just hop in and interact, you know? And I kind of like that. So I would really like to find a way that I could replace the whole thank you for the follow, thank you for the 5 bits, thank you for the 100, with like whole streams dedicated to people who donated, followed, and all that stuff. And maybe you even have like a ranking system or you have specific streams for donators, specific streams for followers, that kind of stuff, you know? I want to make it like more interactive and shit. Because if I was actually going to do this for like a living, I'd want to make it fun. I want to make it like interesting, you know. And I feel like just doing the normal streamer thing of accepting people's follows, their views, their money, and like even giving me a follow is a nice thing to do because you know you're at least trying to boost my numbers. So like not having any way at all, even with thousands of people having no way to interact with you, it might build a queue, but you know you could get onto the queue eventually, right? And eventually everyone kind of plateaus. There's always a plateau for streamers, which works really well in my favor. Because if I plateau at somewhere like 2,000, 3,000, that'd be perfect, right? Or, you know, maybe it's somebody like I get like maybe 10 to 20 sometimes, but I'm mostly sitting on 5 to 8. That'd be perfect because you can be in the queue of like the followers and the stuff without having to constantly be adding to that queue and being too like too long and shit. You can mute me, buddy. There's a mute button. It's called F1. Just do that, because otherwise I'm gonna mute you, and you're gonna keep hearing me, and
how do you?
It's a podcast.
How do you talk so much, man?
It's a gift to gab, brother.
Look, I know a lot of fucking talking. I love listening to myself talk. It's literally my favorite thing
it's the
to
gift
do.
to gab, brother. Some people are born with it, some people aren't. I just have that talent, bro.
And somehow
I just got that talent.
To do it. Even fucking better than me. It's absurd. It's obnoxious. It's outrageous. It's egregious. I can't fucking stand it.
You jealous?
How the fuck is anybody gonna watch you on stream? You don't shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, isn't that great? Doesn't that mean content's going 24/7? Doesn't that mean it's a never-stop ride of constant conversation and both of us talking over us? They can just listen and hear in awe as we continue to move in an endless direction of senseless babbling and nonsense talking. Oh God, it's beautiful. I love you. Please marry me. I want you to be my podcast partner. You're perfect. You're beautiful. You can go like me. I have a challenger. I have a man who can actually fucking hold his worth against me. He can speak like I am. He has the flow, the consistency, the ability to talk over someone else. It's beautiful. Son, you have the talent. You just have to believe in yourself. You have it too. You should start something of your own, man. You got it too.
No,
you have the gift
I'm
as
just
well.
Angry. That's all I am is angry from having fucking
use that anger, brother. I'm angry too. I'm always angry. My life is shit. I hate my life sometimes, man. I use that anger. I use that to keep going, to rant about something I'm passionate about. You have the gift of gab too. You can go too. It doesn't matter when someone else is talking over you. You can still speak. That's what makes it great. You don't let that fucking rock on the road stop your train. You, my friend, you need to start something of your own. You have a gift yourself, and you're just not using it properly. And I think you see a little bit of that in me, and that's why you're upset. And I see that gift back in you, and I believe in you. I believe in you hard, and I want you to do something.
Shut the fuck
I don't care
up,
how little it is.
sensitive
I don't care what little bit it is, or what you decide to do. Some sort of content. You got the thing. You got that gift, that gab, that go, that fucking talk, that speech. It's amazing. Come up with something more interesting, Alex. Everyone says that. Everyone says that. Make me. What are you gonna do about it? Make me. Press the mute button, bitch. Do it. The fuck? Gotta be like this guy. Gotta be more creative. You gotta be like Yada, like Yardmeat. Yardmeat, he's funny. He can speak. He speaks his fucking mind. Doesn't let anyone move his track. And he speaks his actual mind, which is unique. Because what he actually thinks is unique, instead of just shut up 30 times. That's what I'm talking about. I believe in you, Yardmeat. You have the talent. Even, at speech, maybe you could be a good salesperson. Maybe you could be a good, going out and talking on stage for people, a good hype man. But you got that. You got that thing, that gab, that gift. Use it, brother. I love this guy. On this planet. You gotta be live on this planet. This man. I wonder if he muted me, but no, I'm sad. He was a partner in crime. I love him. You know what I had though? I did kind of forget what the fuck I was talking about. I'm a little bit into the alcohol and the bowl.
Didn't it come close to hitting?
We were so into it, and I'm like completely. He took like my brain off track, like not my speaking flow, but he took my brain off track. He allowed me enough time that my brain went fart. Shit. Well, you know what? We can just rant off about something else. Hey, you know what we were talking about? We were talking about the concept of kids and the whole sexual thing. We were in the fucking the age thing and how parents can't talk about it, why that leads to problems. The same thing applies with swear words, right? So I think the whole thing of like how we can say most swear words to kids in another word, and it's not a bad word, and we should just explain that to them. That's kind of like that with sex. When they start reaching those sexual ages, parents are afraid to have that awkward conversation, which is also one of the dumbest things in the world. If you have a kid pop out of you, and you change their fucking diapers, the fact that you are afraid to talk to them about sex, or you're nervous to do it, so much so that it prevents you from doing so. I mean, Jesus, get your life together. Get your life together.
Dude, what?
Fuck, I didn't even see. I don't know I was gonna be there, but yeah, get your organization, get your life, get your goddamn. I mean, just get yourself together. You gotta do better for yourself. You gotta be a tougher person than that. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I understand, admitting to your own mistakes is hard for a lot of people, but just talking about like some slightly awkward shit should not be that fucking big a deal. It should not. I mean, if it's really causing you that much of a problem, you shouldn't be a parent. Oh my God, there were so many chats I didn't see. You sounded so sad. This conversation is making me go insane. You mean fair? Dude, I feel that too. I drink and I always drink or smoke. I make sure to stay intoxicated during the length of the podcast. It adds to the fun. Okay, why are you? Is there a way down? Can I leave? I don't want to be here, guys. How did you get up here? Can I get down? Excuse me, sir. There's no way down. You people have trapped me up here.
I joined a squad and I'm already getting lectured.
I'm not lecturing you. I'm asking questions. I just needed to know.
There's a rope over here, brother.
Oh, there is a rope. Thank you. I love you. You're beautiful. You know what? You're an amazing squad mate. Oh, wait, there's a guy. That's a fucking short. That's a fucking podcast short. Oh, I love doing shit like that in the middle of the pod. I got plenty of clips like that in like 3, 4, 5. Well, 6 is gone. Actually, no, 3, 4. Wait, was it 6? Oh shit! I might have put the wrong number. I might have to change that name. Oh, that was fucking funny. I jumped down and blew him up. Oh, I got him. Oh, I got 3. I just got 3. Dude, these things are broken. Now that they actually explode and kill people, they are so fucking broken. Oh my god,
That
these
is
are so
facts.
broken. These are so broken. These are so broken now.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know what you were doing, but we like ran past you. Give me a second. I wanna keep. This is fucking insane. I wanna keep running around. I'm getting some good kills here. I wanna see how long can we keep this going? What can we do with this here? Oh, we got one more rocket.
Hey, you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, sensitive.
Hey, Mr. Sir, how you doing?
Shut the fuck up.
You're the
Shut
12th
your
person to
fucking
tell me
mouth,
that
boy.
today. You have no creativity. You have absolutely no creative brain. You can't think for yourself. You're an idiot. All right.
Shut up.
After a while, that's the only response I got. I try to keep the responses creative to that shit, but I mean, once you hear the same thing like 30 times, all I can do is start repeating my own mantra back. I don't know what else to say. I've heard it 30 times. Nothing creative. I'd like to hear something more creative. I'm asking for better creativity, you know? Explain why you'd be better at this seat than me. That's actually what I'd really like. I encourage people to get out there and create. It's the only thing in this world that is actually worth living for. Finding your own thing. Oh, can I? Where the fuck? I couldn't see him. I was trying to fucking see him before I shot. Is this dude? Wait, is that a sniper? Oh, that's yard meat. Oh, wait. It's yard meat. Why is he always in the back with a machine gun? Everyone here likes to lay down on buildings in this squad. I love it. Okay, that didn't work. Allahu Akbar. Shit. But anyways, boys, yeah, we get into these... We're just gonna go back to suicide bombing. We get into these, like, fucking weird places where we don't want to talk about certain shit with kids. And I mean, swear words, bad words, the fucking, and sex is like the two #1 spots. And all we do is let someone else teach them. And I think this has been said before, obviously, but we let someone else do it. We push the job onto someone else, either a kid at their school, the internet, you know, maybe a teacher, or, fuck, maybe an older kid. You never know who's going to give your kid that information, so it's probably best for it to come from you. And, jeez, I don't know how to advise people to overcome the embarrassment to do it. I really don't. I will admit, I don't know how to advise you to fucking do that. I'm not sure.
Oh, you can.
Because I don't have that same embarrassment to talk about topics like that. Like, I have no embarrassment whatsoever to talk about any fucking topic whatsoever. But I would say,
oh fuck,
maybe just remind yourself you don't fucking do it, someone else will, and it will be worse. So that's all I can say. But you definitely need to note that no, you should not let someone else do it. You should not let yourself get embarrassed away from doing it. And that's embarrassing, brother. That's embarrassing.
oh my god,
That's embarrassing. That's like the third time I've had that on the podcast.
I know.
Yeah, I feel it. I've done it before too. I feel it. I feel it, brother. Because I know I like that guy. It's like, I know. It's okay. He's probably just coming home from work. That guy did not sound like a professional, man. He's just enjoying the game, and you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad he's enjoying it. But I have this thing, like, every time I'm on the pod or I'm doing a fucking suicide run for videos, anytime I catch someone out like that where they're shooting at me and I'm able to run up on them, I always say, man, that's embarrassing. That one's embarrassing for you. It's like a little... It's just my instant reaction. It's almost like instinct at this point. But it's you know, we have this stupid fucking thing in our head. And you know, I wonder if anything, like, if you ever see like how military train to deal with say pain, or like how like expert military deal with the fucking Navy SEALs, how they deal with being underwater, able to hold their breath, but also being able to be in cold water. Like I think I heard a Navy SEAL on a short explain it really well when a dude got interviewed. I hate all of them because they don't help their veterans with their platform, but this guy said something that was actually really interesting. He said, well, you after you dropped into water, your parachute's, you have to, either parachute got caught, you cut yourself out, or your parachute almost fucking drowned you, you're cold, you had to swim with equipment for fucking 20 minutes, you're now on a beach, you're fucking freezing, you're all wet, everything weighs more. That's a good perspective to put in, like, what they're training for when they do the, because, like, it's not the fact that you can't get out there and do something in an environment. It's that when that environment starts to really hit down on you or encumber you, you have to be able to deal with those encumberments and keep on going. Maybe, so maybe you look to, like, how Jim Carrey said how he had to, like, get they got a CIA trainer to help him when he was in the makeup for The Grinch, right? maybe you can look into like trainments like that to try to get yourself to do something you don't want to do or you're too embarrassed to talk about or some shit with your kids or whatnot. But I really don't know. I don't know if that will help or not. But I mean, we gotta figure it the fuck out. Because again, we are in an age where people really don't understand consent. People don't know how to handle themselves sexually. You know what? Since I'm not gonna name their name, I'm gonna bring up this person anyways. I don't give a fuck. I know a person who, when they explained it to me, they basically explained it to, they didn't understand sexual relationships. So they got into a relationship with a guy who basically just made them do whatever they wanted sexually. And they like never said no though, right? And they never resisted because they didn't understand that they weren't just supposed to do whatever the other person says. And I understand like completely, like that's probably a terrible fucking position to be in, to be so undereducated about sex that you just think that, you know, you're just supposed to let your partner use you like a fucking own-a-hole or some shit, you know, or like a fucking pocket pussy or like a jack-off machine is very terrible and awful, and that doesn't seem like a very good place to be in your head. Whoa! But at the same time, you can't blame your lack of education on yourself. You can blame yourself for not saying no if you ever felt wrong in the process. But you can't blame yourself for not knowing you weren't supposed to say no in a sort of way. But the fact that you even have a person walking around like that, like thinking like that, just exemplifies the issue of parenthood and sexual education and like keeping certain things only educated. I mean, this person was 16, 17, 18 years old, and they thought that the only way that, you know, relationship was supposed to go down is they just let someone use them as a fucking sex machine. I don't know, man. I'm not like I don't want to like put that like against the person, but like the people around them didn't educate them, and the education system even failed them because they had been through fucking health class. I know because I went to the same school as them, right? So they had been through health class. They'd seen health class, and somehow health class never taught them, I guess, the dynamics of a relationship, even for, like, because they talk about, like, spousal abuse in health class a lot. They used to. I remember that from when I was a kid, right? Being in health class, and you talk about, like abusing, like, being in an abusive relationship. And somehow, she didn't get the message. They didn't get the message. This person didn't get the message because it's so poorly presented. You know? First of all education is presented in such an interesting way. I blame the schooling system for when kids don't pay attention. I don't blame the kids. I don't blame the parents. I blame the schooling system. It's your fault. You don't make it entertaining. You don't make it interesting. You don't make it fun in any sort of way. It doesn't have to be fun all the time, but making little bits of it fun or parts of it fun that make the other parts worth doing to get to the fun parts is honestly the way education should go, because literally in psychology it's known that how kids learn is at least in developmental stages and early stages of life from until about 5 to 10 years old is through play, and that's how they used to learn a lot, was through play. And education systems have never been good at creating a way of replicating that, only whenever they'd have teaching from elders, when you'd have elders teach people and they would actually come up with creative and fun ways to teach people stuff so that way they would actually want to learn it, is when people would actually retain information much better. And it's because they actually made the shit interesting and something that people wanted to learn instead of something you were forcing them to learn. And that's why it becomes even worse when we can't do it at all, because then we can't do it in these specialized areas like sex ed, or just health class in general, or even just straight up communication. I'm gonna let this guy say what he has to say. I'm really agreeing with this man. I have to agree, it's some wise words. Remember that, boys. But, I guess adding on to what he has to say, it's absolutely horrendous how a lot of parents just expect their kids to figure it out. A lot of people, actually most people, just expect you to figure it out. And then when you're an adult, they expect you to have it figured out. And they don't teach you shit, but you better figure it out or it's your goddamn fault. And it's so poorly put together. It's so poorly planned, put together, and really organized or, I guess, practiced. It's just stupid. Nobody ever thinks to sit down, take a few minutes, and go, okay, what can I do to make this interesting? Teachers do it, but let's go into that for a second. Let's go on a little side tangent about teachers. Teachers aren't allowed to make friends with their students. In my school, if you had a teacher who let kids come in and talk to her on her lunch break, during their lunch break if they had it at the same period, right? They would literally fire the teacher if she didn't stop. At first, they wanted the door open, right? Understandable. That's fine. If you think somebody's trying to fuck in a classroom or some shit, or they have kids coming in there, you don't want somebody doing something weird in the class, sure, have the door open. That's fair. That's fine. Could have left it there. But no, sorry, you can't have kids come into your class during their lunch break. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Why can't this person actually like the person they're learning from? Why can't they actually have a friendly relationship with this person? Because guess what? The reason that everybody states doesn't work. Guess what? You try to prevent kids and teachers from having a friendly relationship because you don't want them fucking, it's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. Because if people want to fuck, they're going to fuck. If people want to fuck, they're going to fuck. If a girl wants to get off on her grades and she's willing to put her body out there for it, she's going to do it. Whether it's right or not, she's going to do it. If any guy, no matter the age, gets offered to have his dick sucked, he's going to say, hell yeah, with extra cheese on top. Like, if people want to fuck, they're gonna fuck. Okay? Right? Exactly. In my school, all my teachers were friends because that's how you liked learning. Was your teacher was friendly and cool about it. I think science is a lot of science teachers make teaching fun. I think that we need to take a fucking lesson out of their school book because everybody remembers the fun science teacher who did fun science projects. Everybody. Okay? Gotta have doors open, that's fine. I've never understood why we can't have cameras in classrooms. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I don't understand there's no sex in there. There's no nudity. I don't know why we can't have cameras in classrooms. I think it would fix a lot of bullying. I think it would fix a lot of teachers. I think it would fix a lot of shit. Okay? But, at the same time, one reason I can see why we don't have cameras in the classrooms, and probably the main reason, is because if parents saw what teachers actually have to deal with, half of them would want to lynch the teachers for being too harsh with their kids. The other half would want to lynch the kids. I kind of understand that. But if that's our reasoning, we are a primitive-ass species, and we need to start acting like we're primitive instead of acting like we're actually smart. Because if we're so advanced in society that we can literally remove people's susception to diseases like AIDS with genetic altering at birth, yet we are so afraid of letting teachers handle our kids like their parents do, or actually getting strict or tough on them. I understand hitting them is not right, but yelling at them or throwing a comeback at a bully who was bullying a kid in your classroom is not bad. And parents will literally lynch over this. And if that is why we as a people can't put cameras in classrooms to observe the people that are teaching our kids and observe the kids and what they're doing to each other in the classroom, that's a pretty primitive reason. If someone could give me another one that makes more sense, I'll understand it. But the only reason I can think of is because the parents will realize that their teachers and the space that their kids are learning in is nothing like they thought it was. And I don't understand how that's a thing either, because at some point they were in a classroom too. I don't know how the fuck you could ever be in a classroom in any school ever and not think that kids aren't bullying the fuck out of one another, beating the shit out of one another, and absolutely making life terrible for each other. if people really think that kids go to school and it's all fucking kumbaya, or they think that it's okay that kids bully and make fun of or fuck with each other, I think that's a problem. That's maybe the core problem when we talk about school shootings, when we talk about kid issues, when we talk about young suicide, when we talk about people learning things improperly. It all starts with education. It really does. And everybody says fund education. Fund what? Fund what? What do you want funded? What do you want to change? Why do we need more funding? What is more funding going to do? You know what's sad? The fucking ghetto kids that grew up halfway across the town, that grew up in a school, right? That grew up in a school where they had kids bringing guns to schools and were having shootings outside. They are not much better. The kids that I went to school with are not much better off. They're really not. Because 90% of the time, they still have to figure out a lot of shit for themselves. And sometimes those ghetto kids actually learn more shit quicker because of how bad their environment is. So they learn at least a lot more common sense shit. Maybe not economics, maybe not taxes, but they learn like common sense shit especially about sex, first of all. They fuck a lot, wind up too, but I mean, that's what you have to fuck before you figure it out. But, they figure out certain shit a lot quicker just because they have to adapt to their environment, right? So there is definitely things they're missing that the other kids got from the school, but to say that one's more better off than the other on a large margin is not true. It's a slight margin. It's not that big of a margin. Probably statistically it is. Maybe if you look into like college, just because college papers are that important. But if you take everybody all the way up to high school and then you remove high school diploma and like the papers that allow you to get jobs and shit, right? If you remove that shit, you're not better off. Like knowledge-wise, you're not better off. Maybe getting a career, maybe getting a stable paying job. That is true because that's what education really does at the end of the day. You go through all that shit just to get a piece of paper to go out in the world and actually use, right? But, the idea that you're better off from a knowledge point of view really just depends on your parents or your experiences, because there is no generalized system that really teaches you what you actually need to know and leaves you open in so many areas you might as well say it's practically fucking useless. Like, sure, there are plenty of basic education things like writing, language, reading, that people couldn't do in the Middle Ages and stuff. I get that. But at the same time, from a philosophical, from a mental health, from a personal knowledge and world knowledge, like world experience knowledge, what you going out into the world and actually doing things, no, not at all. It really doesn't prepare you for the world in the slightest fucking bit. It prepares you minimal to none. I think college does more to prepare you, but most people don't make it to college. Most people in the country don't make it to college. That's not a fair point. People say that the majority of the country goes to college. No, the majority of the country goes to college or an equivalency school, okay? Which would be community college or trade school. If you want to say that community college and trade school is just as good as even the top 100 paid-for schools, like more private schools, you're an idiot. One of the reasons those private schools are better even in the slightest is because they have actual excess funding they can spend on other things. But at the same time, they're still not up to the standard they should be. They're at a terrible fucking standard. Their standard is so fucking low, I would put them on the equivalency with high schools. Because where does their money go most of the time? It goes into sports, which makes them money. It becomes a business. It becomes about making the college money instead of educating people. It's not very smart. And honestly, like everyone, I think there's a streamer that I know, Destiny, made a good point. A lot of education is structured pretty well, but what we talk about and the things we miss is the problem, right? Because if you think about math, you can't restructure math. Maybe in the order you learn like advanced stuff like calculus and like advanced algebra, you can mute me. This is a podcast and I talk in games so people can interact with me. So you can mute me, brother. It's just F1. But you probably couldn't do any different things with math, especially like I said, maybe the advanced ones, but for the most part, math is structured just fine. Communications, for the most part, is structured pretty good. It's just once you get out of the basics that it becomes structured terribly. The way that we read stupid books and we do book reports on them is so out of date. There's so many better ways we could teach people about the structure of language and this kind of, reading or metaphor or, language concepts and shit. There are so many way better ways instead of reading 50-year-old fucking books that half the people don't give a shit about. I think the better idea would be to go over the language concepts in class and then have the kids read the books and point them the fuck out instead of doing a book report about it. You just have them point out different specific language concepts that you're wanting to teach them. It's just so stupid how once you get out of actually learning how to read, write, cursive, that kind of shit, and you start learning about the metaphor concepts, the high language concepts, the way they're taught is so stupid. I always hated the way they were taught. It's just so fucking dumb. Honestly, I think the best way to do it would to be take multiple forms of modern media, look at them, go back to old media, look at how they were created or some of the first places they were used or how they were developed over time, and then, having people point that out in old media and new media. So, like, pick a movie that you watched and read a book of the school's choice. So you get to pick a movie that you've watched. You got to tell me the narrative themes within it and point out as many as you can, blah, 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 and write this, that, and that about it instead of a stupid book report, because the book report's fucking dumb. Okay? I'm dead. But, so you do that, and then you have them also, you pick a book that they do the same thing on. And it's a simple concept. It's a really, really fucking simple concept. And I guarantee you, by tying it in with something that they're actually interested in, and then showing them how that relates in other forms of media or old form media, it's Dylan! It's Dylan! It was Dylan. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm sad. I'm fucking sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. It's Dylan. It was Dylan. I miss Dylan. Anyways, but these concepts, by tying them into something people actually care about, you're gonna have them pay attention way fucking more. There'll still be people who won't give a fuck, but you for sure will be able to get them to pay attention better. So just simple shit like that. But also on the history front, I think history is the biggest place that we fail in teaching anything about fucking anything. Because it's all American propaganda. We leave out a lot of shit. We don't talk about shit properly. Honestly, I think we do really good at talk about how most of human history was basically occupied by power playing in the upper fields of power. And that's literally like 90%, that could be like 90% of the goddamn fucking education you teach up at like high school levels and shit. For like a year or like a single curriculum stage. Like it'd be like a whole lesson could be on that. Because you could literally point it out and you could start to show people how government structures work by showing them how the people use the power plays in those government structures. And if you like play it on the story of people doing the different power plays, the power plays are always really interesting. So if you can tie that in to the fact that that they're using government structures, you can kind of get people to sort of at least somewhat pay attention. And if they don't fully pay attention, at least it won't be totally terrible for them to reread it, because then they can see the parts they like, which is about the emperors taking over shit or doing fucking power plays or killing people or making moves. I mean, that shit is just interesting. It's why we watch fucking The Sopranos and Godfather and all that shit. It's because when these people make these power moves, these power plays, you're like you're in awe a little bit of their intelligence, but you also that was a fucking lineup. But you also like the fact that you're watching somebody with expertise and there was 4 with expertise and like ability in a skill in an area, especially somewhere with like lots of power and lots at stake and lots of risk, maneuvering through that either with ease, with expertise, or roughly, and just making it out alive, just barely outsmarting the opponent. That stuff, it grips. It's interesting. It's good. And it's what honestly, we should tie in a lot of history lesson to understand the actual like governmental things they were doing that allowed them to make those power moves and power plays and allowed them to succeed as well. Oh, shit. But it's really interesting how our structure system is set up, how we don't let, teachers be friendly with the students because, we're so fucking afraid of the shit that's already definitely going to happen when you put a bunch of people into a tight space with each other for 6 hours a day. Somebody's going to want to fuck. That's just the truth of it. Somebody is going to want to, well, they just do it up. But somebody is going to want to, absolutely, hog dog their teacher, or you're going to have some fucking perverted weirdo that's like, fuck it, I'll fuck this 14-year-old for better grades. I don't know why you do that. I don't know why you do that. It ain't worth the time. Ain't worth the time, ain't worth the crime to fuck some stupid, retarded teenager that barely fucking knows fucking their ass from the hole in the ground. Because honestly, I think that's one of the weirdest things, because, like, one of the greatest things about sex is, like, the emotional appeal. So I've never really got the whole pedophile thing. I don't understand how you can have sex with something that doesn't have much of a personality, or its personality is in such development that there's not much substance to it. Like, I get, maybe you have like a mature 16, 17-year-old here, but the fact that even the jail time doesn't keep you away from that just makes me go like, what the fuck is there's got to be something wrong in the head. It's got to be a disorder, man. It's got to be a disorder. But I can kind of understand the teachers with like high school students. Like, to a little bit degree, like, because we used to fuck at those ages. I can, like, get, like, how you're attracted to that, and how you might let yourself slip. But at the same time, I don't know how there isn't a part of you that turns you back around for the most part. I don't know how you do that, because I feel like most of those people, you ever see the cases, you see all the cases, you see the people that come from those cases, they seem like the type of people that just don't care. They seem like they either don't get no bitches, they just don't care, or they just don't care at all because they have, like, weird fucking fantasies, because they're in that seat all day and they're just having weird fucking fantasies about their students and they just don't give a shit. But for me personally, I don't get how anyone can be, like, actual pedophile, like, fuck, like, actual kids. That's weird as fuck. Like, you have to really think about that. There's nothing there. There's nothing in their head. The only angle I've ever been able to understand is maybe you want to violate something pure. But it's like, well, at that point, you're just evil, And it's like a kid. It's like, really? 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 That's where you're gonna go? Here's a joke. You haven't even tried rape first? No, I'm gonna stop. You haven't even tried raping, a legal age virgin first? Like, it's just, Jesus Christ, You have to really think about that for a minute. Where is that person's head gone? What is going on in your life that you're like, yeah, I'd fuck a kid. Right? Like, I think, like, if you have nothing going on in your life and you're ready to die, maybe, maybe that's a mindset that could bring you there. But again, there's people that don't. A lot of people don't do it for that. A lot of people don't do it. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone. I really don't know any case I can think of on the top of my head where that would even have been the fucking case. I think they just do it because they like it. It's stupid. It's weird. So again, but for like the high school thing, you're never gonna stop that. They're like seriously, we used to live to like 40. You're never gonna stop the teachers fucking kids in high school. That's gonna happen. It's always gonna happen.
Dude, are you okay? You've been talking non-stop for like 2 hours.
It's a podcast, my guy. That's what I do. I do it in game so people can interact with me because it's a really unique form of contact. Yeah, it's on Twitch. I got 5 viewers that actually came from this match.
How many viewers you got? Like 5?
Yeah, 5. I got 5 people. They all came from this match, or at least most of them. I believe most of them. Yeah, they all. Some people
you're giving away our position.
I mean, sure. I don't really care. I just run around in suicide. This guy doesn't know where the hell you're at, though.
I don't want to get shot.
This guy doesn't know where this guy has no idea where you're at. He's right above me. This guy right above me has no clue where you are. He's like looking for you. Like he's on my body looking at me, trying to find you. So like, be prepared. He's coming. He still can't find you though, even though we're talking.
He's already dead.
No, he's not. He was not already dead. I saw him walking around outside. I saw him walking around downstairs. There was a guy walking around downstairs, so he definitely was not dead yet. But yeah, like when did that especially, you know what the worst thing is, bro? Teachers' aides. Oh my God, how many hot teachers' aides have we heard about over the years? I mean, come on, boys. You can't put a prime 22, 21, 23-year-old out there with these 17, 18-year-olds. Some of them, you know, big and built for the fucking football team. I mean, come on. You didn't expect nothing to happen. Get out of here. Get out of here. That one, those ones, I'm sitting here like, I think it should still be illegal. You should still go to jail, you know, whatever. If you're 18, no, that's stupid. I understand why you lose your job. You shouldn't go to jail if you're 18, though. That's obvious. But at the same time, I'm also looking at the fucking people like you didn't expect her to get some dick at that school. You knew what was going on. You knew what was happening. You knew what was gonna happen. And you fucking let it happen anyways. Sorry, no hot teachers. We ain't allowed to. I'm just kidding. You can't do that. But at the same time, if you have a hot teacher's aide going to a high school, you know what you do? You put some surveillance on that bitch. That's what you do. You put some surveillance on that bitch, and you know every guy in the school she talks to, or any of them potential that she could get charmed by. Because that's the only way you can watch it. You can't prevent a person from going to be a teacher because they're hot, right? That's not right, right? You can't prevent them from being a teacher's aide because they have to learn about teaching that way. They have to have live experience to be a teacher. So you can't do that, right? And then on top of that, the kid is never at fault. I don't know how else to say that. Like, we shouldn't make them legally at fault, but I mean, there's got to be a punishment for some of these, like, if you're like a 16, 17, 18-year-old dude, like, if you're under that age, like, you're under the age of consent, like, where they have some of it 16, I understand, you know, we're not going to hold you at fault. You're just a horny little boy. But if you're like 16, 17, 18, whether you're male or female, like, if you're in that age range, I honestly think that there should be some punishment if you're fucking a teacher. Like, to some degree, you know that's wrong. I don't know how else to say that. Like, whether once you're 16, 17, 18, I don't think you should get legal trouble, but like from the school, you should get some sort of, you should get suspension or whatnot.
Because you are a pedophile.
There's no way you don't know what you're doing is fucked up. Because at some point, you literally, whether you're a dude or a chick, you looked at the teacher you was fucking, and you went, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this, or you know we shouldn't be doing this, right? Like you've done that. Every one of them people in them situations has had that conversation. You know they have. There's literally no way around it. It has to come up at some point because there's no way for you to go, well, I don't care. You have, at some point, for you to get into bed with that person, both of you have had to have thought about it, brought it up to each other, and went, well, neither of us give a fuck. And that's the truth. That's a hard truth you gotta swallow. Once you're after a certain age, like 16 plus, you know what you're doing, and you don't give a shit. Now, should that be legal trouble? No, it's on the burden of the fucking adult, duh. But the school should get you in trouble. If you're fucking a teacher, I don't know, you should get suspended for like a month. Or expelled, or something, or get put in a class by yourself, or never be allowed the opposite sex teacher again, like something, because you're a predator as well, like you're the opposite way predator, because I think a good way to bring this up is girls that will try to prey on dudes to get fucking, especially in college, like that was a college fucking stereotype, that the hot girl is trying to get some grades off with the professor. That shit happens in high school too, and it's just as much of a stereotype, okay? And guess what? That girl partially is a predator to a degree. Should she be considered one legally? No. I'm not, because it is always on the burden of the adult, of the legal age person. But at some degree, the people around her need to shame that. They need to tell her, you're a bad person for that. For even allowing yourself to do that. You're a bad person. You are not a good person. You are a bad person. Or, if they're like, I can understand if they have some sort of mental disability. That's a completely different story. But a normal, working, fucking functioning 16-year-old knows it's wrong. And you cannot convince me otherwise. You can't convince me without some sort of mental disorder that you do not know that right from wrong. Because you hear it all when you're a kid. Okay, and once you become 14 to 16, you know why your parents told you not to talk to strangers. We all do. okay? Right? You start to learn why. And then you start to get the nuances of that once you become 16, 17. That's right where the real nuances hit, because you're right on the edge, right? And you start walking around other kids who are 18, 19, and you don't have sexual access in the dating market to them anymore. Whether you're a guy or a girl, you start to think about that in your head. You go, well, I can't talk to them because they're too old for me, right? So you fucking know. So, the same thing goes with a guy. A guy that's fucking a teacher, a hot teacher, 16, 17, you're a predator. You are preying on a person, right, with your youth. And it's a weird concept to think about. It's one a lot of people don't want to think about. But me, as you know, I can think about, talk about, speak about anything. No matter how wrong I am, because I have to speak about it to someone who's right to fix my wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have to learn that I'm wrong by speaking about it. But this one, I mean, I'd hold to this one pretty hard. You have to get into the philosophy of it, of explaining to me that somehow a 16-year-old doesn't know this right from wrong that we're all taught, at least within American society from a young fucking age, right? We'd have to go into the philosophy of that, and you have to make a good argument saying, no, listen, there is an argument because of, you know, brain growth. You know, the kids are, like, studies be showing that they don't know these kind of rights and wrongs and have a hard time gripping why. Which I think you kind of can. They do have a little bit of a, oh, if I say it's okay, it should be okay, you know, kind of attitude. But that's not a good philosophical reason to say they're not partially to blame. Because they're going, well, it should be okay if I say it's okay, I'm above the law. No matter what, you're going, well, I'm above the law, right? I should be able to do what I want if I consent. But there's a law for a reason. It's like saying, well, if this person killed my son, I should be able to kill them because I think that's right. It doesn't work like that, right? It does not work like that. Again, no legal blame. They should not be fined. They should not be charged. They should not even be arrested. But as a society, as people, we have to look at them and go, you're fucked up for that. You're a problem for that. You're an issue for that. You are wrong for that. And you are a predator for that. Not a pedophilic predator, but a predator by using youth. And it's the same fucking, you know, way on the opposite end of the scale. It's the same scale, just on the opposite end. And that's why, and otherwise, you know, what, brother? What are you saying no to? Rebuttal. Rebuttal, please. This guy. These people, man. I hate it when they... I thought I'd get more people speaking to me. Like, I knew I'd get a lot of people saying, shut the fuck up. But I thought I'd get more people that would speak and stuff. And usually, you have at least a couple people that come in and talk. Dylan was cool, though. Dylan was fun. But yeah, like, no matter what, like, that's... like, that's from 16 to 18, you know what the fuck is going on, you know? And one of the main reasons I do make this point, though, is because that's where a lot of people put the age of, that's where a lot of countries and people put the age of consent, and sometimes even drinking. So, again, these people know what the fuck they're doing. So to some degree, it is partially on their fault, but the majority of the fault would obviously be on the adult person, which is why we obviously charge them. It's just weird as a society, we never look at the girl or guy unless they were actually fucking raped, which is duh. You know, we don't need to, I'll clarify though. I will clarify, if they were actually raped, that's different. But if both people consented to sex, even if you're not of age, the of age person was partially at fault. Not legally, but you need to look at them and go, hey, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't do that. That's no good. That's no. That is predatory behavior. Using your youth to advantage over others is predatory behavior. And I think a concept on the sideways of this is sexual experience. So, I don't want to get into red pill content, but we'll mention it anyways.
Yes, we do.
The red pill people, the retarded people on the internet arguing over relationships. The guys that have no bitches trying to run around and say that girls gotta be a virgin. No. No, they don't. Nobody has to be anything, and anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. But people who are outside of each other's sexual experience range should not date. And simply because the person with more sexual experience has a hard leverage over the other person. Actually, if they've been in more relationships, period, they have a hard leverage over the other person, like a really hard leverage, because one, they can manipulate that person because they understand the aspects of a relationship and how to get people to do things they want or how to deal in a relationship better than the other person. But on top of that, they also know sexual things and know how to please someone sexually or use sexual gratification as a sort of weapon against another person. So whether it be a guy or a girl, it happens both ways. And I actually would say it might happen more with girls, because if you see a lot of girls kind of stuck on the guy who gives them good dick but doesn't have that good personality, right? Or the opposite way around sometimes, though, too. It can be the opposite. But I hear a lot, hear a common thing about girls getting stuck on that good dick, the dick they like, right? But a guy isn't like their type of person, but he fucks them the way they want. That's a sort of sexual experience type thing sometimes. Whenever you have a guy who's just been with a lot of girls and knows how to press their fucking buttons, that's a sort of sexual experience type of thing. Like me, I don't have a crazy amount of sexual experience, so I probably wouldn't be considered in that position. But what little I do have, I know some of the shit that I've researched about how to fuck better and how to pleasure a woman better actually work, and I know which one of them works. So that's a sort of sexual experience I have over women that don't know that information, or themselves, actually, because there's a lot of girls that don't know it themselves. It's interesting how little women know about how to fucking pleasure themselves, or about their own body and which buttons work for them specifically and which ones don't. But as a person, I thought it would be a good idea to legitimately research women's biology. As I got older, I started researching multiple things about it so I could be more fucking actually nice in a relationship or helpful in some sort of way, with straight up periods and just mood swings and pregnancy and all that shit, just so I could know how to handle it better by researching on it. But on top of that, you research sexual things so you know how to pleasure a woman better. I mean, it's a simple concept, really. But it's funny because along that same vein, someone who does that without even having sex actually technically has more sexual experience than a person who has never had sex and never seen that information. So they both don't have any sexual experience in the real world, but one of them at least knows things that he can try and practice. Which I think still puts you on a relatively level sense with someone who hasn't seen that stuff or doesn't know anything about that for the opposite sex. But you still have a little increment of leverage over the other person. It doesn't go away. And I don't think increments of leverage are necessarily a bad thing. I think leagues of leverage is a bad thing, where you have these large differences, like a girl who's been with 100 dudes and a guy who's been with 4 girls. The dude's getting used. No matter how it's the same way the other way around. A guy that's been with 100 women and a girl that's been with 3 dudes. They're being used. For the most part, most of the time. I'm not saying that you immediately have to look at that as a red flag, but generally we should try to stay away from people who have body counts that are outside of our range. And if we do accept someone who does have a body count too high or too low, and we both people in the relationship have to recognize and respect that fact and understand if something goes wrong due to that difference in age and stuff, that what they should do is say, well, I decided that I wanted to be in this relationship. I decided that I was still going to do that, knowing this going in. And I think that's the balance that you'll find, so that people that can still date whoever the fuck they want. They just should be knowledgeable about it.
Hey, brother, I hope you figure it out, man. Brother, I hope you figure it out.
We're on a podcast. We're in a podcast. Say something for the podcast, brother. I just suicide bombed your tank.
Okay, bro? You alright, bro?
Hey, bro, I hope that you get it figured out, because it sounds tough.
We're just talking about concepts, man. I don't have nothing going on. My life literally is like a blank.
Okay, hey, whatever you gotta say, man. I'm not trying to interject.
No, I want you to interject, please. Please interject. That's the whole point of the podcast. Please interject. That's the whole point of the podcast. That's the whole point. Is to talk to people in proximity. Fuck me. tried really hard. But you know what? We've honestly ran around a fuck ton of topics today. I think we're gonna cut it after this game. I think after this game we're gonna cut the rope because we have gone pretty far outside. We've kind of stayed in topics. We've gone a little bit outside the range. We've ranted about so much shit. We've covered a lot. And I think I've really gotten all I wanted to say out about the bad word shit for the most part. But we'll still keep trying to go on that track here. But you know, going back to the whole. Let's do a little wrap up here on the whole sex, bad words, and why not teaching that properly is destroying society. For one, first of all, I'm going to say nothing more than just look at how sexually confused society is. From the consent argument to trans shit, we are so confused sexually. So fucking confused. So there's one argument. Second, look at all the fucking shit where we cry about censorship and needing to censor stuff. There's your bad words. There's your don't say this, don't say that, don't speak this way. Instead of, you know, explaining to people why things are bad. Or hell, honestly, I think when teachers get shit talked to them, they should be allowed to talk shit back. Right? I think that's just how it works, and they should just have to get good at talking that shit to kids. Inside of, like, a classroom. Because otherwise, you know, trying to suspend kids for this, that, and the other thing, it doesn't really do much when it happens, like, over and over after you, like, suspend them first time and they go, oh, no school for the grade, you know. I mean, 90% of the time, bro, I didn't give a shit about none of the punishments because all the punishments took me away from school, right? They were all great. I mean, my parents kind of got me, but it's like, you know, after you become a teenager, you can sort of just go, well, go fuck yourself. Like, unless your parents are willing to physically beat you, and even then, like, honestly, I would have gone to hands with my dad, and if he would have, like, beat me over me not listening to him, or tried to, like, beat me or some shit over me not, like, listening to him, I would have honestly probably pulled a knife or some shit on him. Like, there's a certain level where you're allowed to, like, hit me and shit, but, like, if you start trying to beat on me, I'm gonna kill you. I don't care if you're my dad, you're my mom, you're my fucking grandparent. You start beating on me, I'm gonna kill you. That's just how I go. You're violently attacking me, and I can't defend myself from you. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna fucking kill your ass. When I tried to rocket it, I missed.
Are you like 13?
I mean, what? You just gonna let your parents beat on you, physically abuse you? I mean, like, they can hit me and shit, but I mean, like, if your parents are, like, beating you till you're bloody, you're just gonna let that happen, my guy? Like, really?
Nah, I block.
You're 10, 11 years old, and you're gonna block a fully grown adult male.
Yeah.
Sure, bud.
Different, dog.
Sure, bud. You must be built different. You must be built like a goddamn fucking Viking, for fuck's sake, man. You must be built like a goddamn Icelander. I don't know any 11, 10-year-old built like that. Like nah. Like, after a certain point, I mean, but for me especially, I'm short, so I mean, like, you have to put yourself in the shoes of a person who can't physically fight back or defend themselves. Yeah. So I mean, take away you. How about if you're in the position of someone who physically can't defend themselves, and no matter what, if they let it happen, they're going to be beat until they're in the hospital. What would you do? Exactly. You do fucking nothing.
Yeah, I think I block.
Yep, and you get put into the hospital. Well, you know what? Everyone to each their own, my friend. But I'm gonna kill him. I don't let anybody take me down like that. I think you got to learn at some point, like, if people in your life, if people that claim to be your family are going to hurt you like that, they can't be considered your family, you know? That's just my personal opinion. But, you know, you have the right to disagree with that. You can live life how you want. But hey, you know, just because I don't want to let someone beat the fuck out of me into a bloody pulp, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with my perspective either. You can do what you want. I can understand the role of pacifism. It's worked for many men throughout the years. But I'll tell you what, I don't believe in pacifism, and non-pacifism has worked out in places where pacifism wouldn't have for many men throughout the history of years. So, each their own, I guess. Yeah, fuck no. I'm stabbing motherfuckers in the throat. They try to beat me to a pulp. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Now there's a certain now that I'm like older and shit though. Unless a woman's using a fucking weapon or some shit, I definitely wouldn't defend myself against most women. You got a Hulk, you got a She-Hulk though. Yeah, no, I'm socking that bitch across the face. Equal rights and equal lefts at that point. Equal rights and equal lefts, baby. You just gotta, you
can also just like run, dude.
Oh, you can't always run in those situations, brother. You can. There's never a circumstance of reality where you can say you can always run. That's not real. Sometimes you can, sure. I would definitely just walk away if I could, but if someone follows me, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, no. I'm calmly walking away, and if you follow me and hit me, I'm gonna turn around and sock your fucking ass. I don't have to run either. I'm definitely not running from anyone because that's a bitch-made move, in my opinion. Where I come from, where I was raised, it's a bitch-made move to run from somebody. I will walk away, but if you chase me and you hit me, I'm hitting you back. Fair enough, you know. Equal rights and equal lefts, baby. But, you know, if it's obviously not like some fucking built-ass woman, I'm just probably going to let that shit go. She can hit me all she wants. I'll just look at her dead in the face like, do your worst. What do you... Maybe she'll bruise, maybe she'll scratch, make me bleed a little. But, I mean, fuck. She can't do nothing worse than that. You try to kick me in the balls, that's all I got to shield, really. This is the only shit you got to shield at that point. You just protect the manhood. You're good to go.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
What kind of fucking TED Talk did I just join?
This is the Battlebit podcast. I'm talking to Edward.
Dude, this kid doesn't know how to block.
I was making a point that, you know, a 10, 11-year-old can't block against a fully grown adult male, and that if my father were to beat the shit out of me to a pulp at 10, 11 years old, I probably would have just stabbed him in the neck. Or tried to, at least.
I had to mute him. He wouldn't stop talking for 2 hours.
This is a podcast, and the whole point is for me to talk in games so people can talk to me.
He's been talking for about like 3 games now.
Yes, it's a podcast, and I go for literally an amount of games.
Pathetic of a human being.
No, I think it's a really cool content idea where I can do a podcast and people can interact with me in-game, enemies and teammates, and I can have a squad of people where people come in and will listen to me sometimes. I mean, all my viewers are from people in the game, dude. I have 4 viewers here that came from this match.
And put it in my mouth and pull the trigger.
I would love to see you do that. That'd be great content. That's amazing.
I would love to try and figure out how to do it.
Please do. I would very much enjoy the sight of that.
Throw me up here, boss, if you would.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a gifted gab. I have the ability to talk for long periods of time without stopping. And, you know, I use it.
That's called annoying. That's called annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying for some people, but when you make content like doing podcasts or streaming, I mean, that's literally what the entire content model is based around. So it works out there. It's how annoying people can make money.
Ah, he's a fucking podcaster, boys.
Yes, I run the Battlebit podcast on Twitch, and I release it on YouTube under my YouTube name.
A human being.
I mean, I don't really see how doing a fun little thing I like to do for like people is makes me less of a human being. But I mean, in your eyes, maybe. But that's just an opinion. I think it's a really weird and stupid opinion. But everyone likes to shit on people that try to do content stuff that they like to do. I mean, it's kind of normal at this point, so I sort of expect it. It doesn't really do anything. I do like when people give creative insults, though. There's been a couple creative ones. But most people just scream, "Shut the fuck up!" They say, "Oh, what a pathetic person," or you must have nothing going on in your life, or something along those lines. Like it's always really the same shit. It's never like anything creative. It's always like the same 3 lines they got off of Google or something. That's why I mean I don't really care what they say shit, because still to this day I've yet to find anyone who has even an ounce more creativity than obviously I do doing the damn thing. one guy, a couple people have come close, but they never stick around. They always do their couple of bits and they fuck off. But hey, for the most part,
I feel like it helps the war go by easier.
I mean, for me personally, I just do it because I like to talk. I have fun doing it. And there's a couple of people who will join the stream or YouTube and interact with it, and I like interacting with them. I enjoy doing it whether people hate on me or not, whether I make money or not, whether lots of people watch me or not. I like to do it. It's fun for me to do. I get to talk about anything I want, and honestly, it's almost like a sort of like venting place if I really need it to be. You can just kind of sit here and vent. And since I don't give a fuck about anyone's opinions who don't actually matter to me, which is very few people in the world, I mean, there's no limit to what I can do. This guy's trying to crash into me. He's so fucking bad.
Hell yeah, man. You do you. You do you.
Yeah, so the only thing is I try to stick away from all the topics that
Go ahead.
that the game doesn't like. But other than that, it's a great time. I like it. It's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed my time with you guys. I've really enjoyed my time with everyone here. Hope everyone has a nice day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the match. Hope to see you guys maybe in the stream sometime. Maybe not. Yeah. You know what? Hold on. You know what? We might extend it. Hold on. We might extend it. My boy Indigo Gaming joined. I wonder if maybe we have him join and we do a little special guest for the end of the podcast. We'll do another hour or two with him or something. Maybe we've gone 3 hours. This is one of the longer ones. Maybe we'll go even longer. Who knows? We did start at a good time today. I want to start trying. I'm getting them really at 8 o'clock, but I may not be able to get 8 o'clock. So why? It'll be between 8 and 10 on Tuesdays. But I do want to do another one on Fridays that I release. It might only be released though. I don't think I can do it on Twitch because it'll be the controversial version. But I'm gonna see if I can get him in game with us. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna ask this guy if he wants to do. Alright, I hit him up on Discord. Give him some time to answer, and we'll just sit back and bullshit for a minute. Yeah, it's interesting. People have like all the same fucking. Let's talk about the haters for a minute. It's kind of weird. Like people have like all the same kind of shit, but then you kind of realize like not everybody's really creative. So of course we're all gonna kind of come up with the same stuff because we're like more similar. But it is really weird how like they even when they go like outside of shut the fuck up, they always have like the same type of lines. Like it's pathetic. You must only have like a small number of viewers. And shit like that, like I think some people go into the whole your family must be proud or something, or like kind of like that, like you have nothing angle. It's sort of like the you have nothing angle. It's just really weird and interesting because no one's ever really creative, and that's kind of what I created the platform also for people to creatively roast me. But you don't get that side of the internet. It feels like those. Because, I guess it's also because a lot of the roasts and a lot of the way people talk shit on the internet is, like, really heavily thought about. So when it's, like, it's ready to do an improv off the fly, they don't have that same quality to their zips or whatnot. But, yeah, it's just, yeah, all I can really do is just be like, yeah, man, I don't really give a shit. I don't want to make money. I definitely will probably reject any sort of monetization on Twitch because I don't want Twitch to make money off of me. Unless I become like really big, like unless I get like 3, 4, 5,000 viewers, like unless I start making like big viewers, I'm probably never going to accept Twitch money because I don't want Twitch to make money off of my money. I really wouldn't like that. If it's big enough, yeah, I'll probably have to accept. I'll probably start accepting it. But the only way I'll accept it is I'll do scheduled streams where all the funding from that stream, like you'll know exactly what I'm spending it on. Right? So then we'll take up all the money, and I'll literally do the math with people, like, how much money did I make in this stream, cut off how much Twitch is going to take, cut off for taxes, all this goes to whatever I decided the stream would be funding for, cartoon, charity, because I want to run my own charities eventually, side projects, and I'll even have ones where, like, you're literally just funding me being able to live and shit, like, it's just personal finance, personal life, personal finance would be probably the title, But like I don't really, unless like something like big, like I get like big enough, I'm making like crazy money. I don't think I'd want to make money off of this. I would use it for money after my cartoon stuff for sure. Definitely for getting money up and stuff like that, right? Trying to get money up and trying to get like things funded, trying to do charities, trying to do like work with like actually help. Like say like I wanted to. Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe I could do the veteran thing where I help out veterans and shit. You could do like a veteran charity thing, but I want to be like my own private charities and stuff. And that's where I would do the funding. Is that, and then I'd have ones that'd be set out for my personal stuff. But honestly, I don't care if I become big or shit. I love doing this shit. This shit's fun as hell. This is probably, and it's like usually I didn't really like streaming all that much, or doing like long form 12-hour, 8-hour streams. Because I tried to do streaming at one point. I just didn't like it. I like video making on my own whim, and I like doing the podcast thing where like I have like a random length for every podcast because we cover a topic, and then sometimes we ran off and then we come back on an end, and then I can also have people in that podcast talk to me like on the game, in the squad. Sometimes I even have extra guests and shit and stuff like that, and I don't know, I just found it like really entertaining and fun. I also like being able to just rant about shit. This feels good, you know. It's nice to have a little vent place, and I talk about shit really, really interestingly, so at least some people find it interesting to some degree. Because I like have my own unique perspective on stuff. I also have no filter. I'm willing to talk about fucking anything. So I just like it. I just think it's fucking fun. Honestly, I had to kind of get used to actually having people chatting for once, because now I have people. I actually have to pay attention because people will chat in my fucking shit now. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't that bad once I got used to it, because it's not like it's like one of them fucking. Well, I'll never be able to read the chat, like XQC or some shit, or like some huge streamer or something. But yeah, no, it's just also another thing it's really good for is. One of the things I really honestly to God, I thought I would get way more of, is just like self-criticism and criticism like on ideas for like debate and stuff. It's really good for that. If I get more people that would push the fuck back. I did get one person. I did get a couple people one time, but that podcast got removed for hate speech from fucking YouTube. So I don't even know what the fuck was said in that one. I can't even think. Because we try to keep it tame for the game. So I don't even know what the fuck that got removed for. It was a 6-hour podcast. They don't even give me the slightest clue. They just said hate speech. And I'm like, what's hate? What do you think is hate speech? You know? And this is what I think it was. I think it's when I said that the people of New Orleans live in a stupid fucking area. For like a swamp. They live like in a swamp. They took out a swamp. And they live there now. And they are susceptible to the wet bulb index, where you can, if it gets too hot and too humid, humans can't sweat, and you die of heat stroke. And they have some days like that now. And I'm like, well, first of all, we're dumb as fuck for building there. We're stupid as shit for emptying a swamp and building in the middle of a goddamn swamp. That's just dumb human planning, okay? At the same time, there's nothing you can fucking do about it. It's not like you can get those people up and make them move. And especially for the government, it'd be really fucking hard. And also, it wasn't necessarily their fault or the government's fault that we built there. We're just stupid as people. You know, humans are stupid in general. I mean, look at all the places we built. Right? Look at some of the cliffs we built on, man. We have, like, hotels on cliffs as, like, a vacation thing. Like, we're dumb as shit. We are stupid. We are a very stupid species. And I'm sorry, that's just true. It's just the fucking truth. Okay? I do feel bad. I do think that the government can do things like, you know, maybe make regulations around air conditioning, that buildings have to be air conditioning, this, that, and the other thing. Or maybe funding an idea to try and dehumidify the area, because humidity is the problem. But, I mean, if you want me to take back what I said about it being a stupid place to build, and oh fucking well for the people that live there, it's like, don't come and uproot my whole life because of them. Figure out a way to do it without destroying everyone's lives, just to maybe fix people's future that we may not even be able to fucking fix. Which I think that's a lie. I think we can fix it. I just didn't know about the whole biome thing. We may have problems with like climate change and biome now. It's like okay? We never thought of biome before when we built somewhere. We just thought, can we build there? The only time we thought of biome was like, we can't build in Antarctica. It's too cold. And we still built there. It's like, we build anywhere, okay? So either we stop building anywhere or blame the people who built anywhere, all right? Right? And go, okay, well, what can we do to fix the problem now that doesn't collapse everything else around it and doesn't destroy other people's lives, you know, and shit. And it's just like, I think there's a lot of simple solutions people don't look at. You know, again, like I said, try to maybe fund something to dehumidify the area, or having regulations around making sure places are air conditioned, workers are being treated right in an air conditioned space. You know, and advising people properly, because like, what the fuck else are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, yeah, we can remove. I agree with removing carbon emissions and shit. Like, I mean, we gotta cut that down, obviously, to some degree. But you want to know what something nobody fucking talks about? You want to know how we can reduce carbon emissions? Plant more trees. They fucking eat carbon and produce oxygen. Plant more trees. You know, we literally this stuff started becoming a like even more noticeable problem in like the last 10 years. But one of the things you can see that even jumped it even more to now is the fucking burning down of the Amazon rainforest. Like, that shit probably increased our carbon emissions a lot because we just have less trees. We could, like, it's funny because a lot of people don't realize how much of the carbon emissions that trees have been fucking eating up. Trees do a hell of a lot for all the carbon shit that we release, all the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that we release, that's like awful. They take up like a lot of it, like 80, 70, 80, 90% type. It's a lot. And it's just impressive. I found it rather fucking impressive. And then I thought, well, we've always wanted to plant more trees. Well, now we got another reason to plant more trees. It's like, we need to make like tree sanctuaries and shit, and like find ways to make like multiple trees. We need to breed trees to make bigger trees, to make more carbon dioxide needing trees. Like I don't know why that's not a discussion anywhere. Because honestly, everyone complains about China not fucking pitching in, but we could literally not give a fuck about China and just plant more trees. If we could find a way to plant trees that take up more carbon dioxide or need more sustenance like carbon dioxide, and we can make them bigger and make them in big areas and stuff, I mean, it's not the final solution. It's not the end of all of our problems, but that's a fucking good start. You know, it's a damn good fucking start. It's going to take a little bit, but it's a damn good start. And then you have to learn how to deal with the emissions until we can get these trees to a place where they're reducing the emissions. So, I mean, like, there's ways to fucking do it. There's ways we can do it. But, you know, one of the biggest problems I have is, like, the need to reduce carbon emissions in, like, cow farts and fucking... and fucking farming and like actual regular farming. It's like, okay. If there's something we can do that doesn't reduce production of food, because guess what? There's still people on the planet that are starving. So we still need to produce food. We can't just stop producing food, and we can't cut back on it either, because we aren't obviously feeding everyone. And everyone goes, well, there's excess here and excess there. And it's like, yeah, but economy and still, to the extent, I mean, just look at COVID. Our supply lines broke down. We didn't have shit. We had barely anything. We were on shortage on shit. We still are. There are still shortages. We don't have the ability to afford to cut down food production. It's a very delicately built system. So I think it was Germany or somebody, like they're doing a whole. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's okay. I don't think trying to cut back on carbon emissions from places like farming that isn't tangible by trying to use soil that's going to be less effective than actually cutting our fucking food production by doing it is not a good idea. And I think that's the kind of stuff that's scary to see, because it's like they want to cut food production, and they also want to try to remove meat There's people that are saying, oh, we need to remove meat. Now, it's not like some great government conspiracy. It's just that there are sects of people who want to do this, and if they do come to power and they actually get like a group of people that come to power and try to do it, it can be scary for trying to force that on people who don't want it. When there's people, have a good one, man. I'm gonna fucking end this. I gotta end this soon, anyways. But I just want to finish my fucking climate change rant. But it's like, we gotta figure out a way to do that without, letting people like that want to, cut. Because first of all, we don't need to cut out meat. Anyone who wants to talk, I hate people who talk shit about meat. You want to debate about meat? Let's debate about goddamn meat. I think we need to lessen the cruelty of animals in our meat as much as we fucking can. We need to not have, like, how cruel it can be sometimes with the animals and how we treat them. But, fuck China, go genocide. Fuck them people. They really genocided, they really committed a modern Hitler, and everybody fucking, not fuck the Chinese people. I'm okay with the Chinese people. I don't mean fuck the Chinese people. I mean specifically fuck the Communist Chinese Party. Fuck the government of China, okay, and how it's structured and the shit that they do to fucking Muslims. Because I gotta clarify, or they're gonna ban me for hate speech. Because censorship. It's like, I don't have problems with Chinese people. I've met plenty of normal Chinese people. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with Chinese people. It's not their fucking fault. Okay, 100%. It's up to them to fix it, but it's like, I understand why they don't, and it's also their fucking decision. It's not my decision. I'm allowed to hate their government for the things they actually do, but I don't hate them. They're just people. But yeah, no, fucking, I don't know, we just gotta prevent fucking trying to remove shit like food, like letting people that want to remove food production to change climate shit. We can't let them get the power and let the other people, the ones that want to invent shit, the ones that want to fix stuff, the ones that want to stop shit, without having to uproot everything and possibly destroy our economy, destroy our food supply, destroy our, our way of living, And we have to, okay, you want to do electric cars, that's fine, but they still cause the same amount of emissions with making batteries. We got to figure that shit out. We got to figure out and you want to feel bad about the labor in the Congo. I don't know, man. We get oil from Islam countries who oppress anyone. Look, no matter where you're getting your fucking resources, it's going to be from somebody terrible 9 times out of 10. Like, the base resource is coming from somewhere terrible. Because we can't, there's so many resources we need. We can't get them all in this country. We're not full of every resource that's ever existed. There are some that we probably don't even fucking know about that aren't even on this goddamn planet. That's not how this shit works, okay? So, we have to, actually look at realistic stuff. I think car emissions is fine. I don't know, I'm a little iffy on bans of things like gas stoves and stuff. I need a numbers breakdown on that. That's the kind of stuff I need a numbers breakdown. How much does these emissions cause? How much is it really a problem? And can it be fixed by the tree thing? And can it be stopped by doing other areas? That's what I need. I need a numbers breakdown. So sadly, I don't have that on hand.
Is there an ammo box anywhere nearby?
But for the most part, we have to, we need to, instead of just screaming climate change, you need to put the numbers breakdown in the media and the news, first of all, and then
they want to use snipers way out there on the
conclusions,
not
removing the food supply.
What up?
You shoot the ammo box. It's fine. That's falling out of the sky.
Filtration thing was a good idea.
Towards
I honestly think trying to figure out how to dehumidify shit is a good idea. The tree thing is a good idea. So we have ideas. We just need to stop fucking getting so upset or censoring people because they don't believe what you're saying is correct. Here's one thing I can tell you: it's a lie about climate change. The water isn't gonna rise. Woo! Woo! The water isn't gonna.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Rise. It's not gonna rise. I don't know how much evidence I need to show you, but already 13 to 20% of the ice caps have melted. Hasn't been a fucking inch anywhere. Not even a fucking millimeter. Nowhere. It's the water level is literally there's literally a photo of a New York dock where the water level is the same from the 10s. It's been 100 years. During the entire Industrial Revolution and all the stuff that would have caused it to melt the shit, and there hasn't been an inch of change. Maybe I got to see some scientific evidence if it gives you some sort of wash effect, where once all the ice caps are melted, it's going to wash across the globe. But that doesn't make sense to me, because if it takes time for the ice caps to melt, where the fuck does the volume of water that was in the ice caps actually go while it's becoming a wave? That doesn't make any scientific sense. Also, another thing people don't consider, ice is more dense, or not more dense, it's more spacious. It takes up more space than water. Okay? Water is more dense than ice. Okay? When ice turns to water, there's less water than there is ice. Okay, so the ice took up more space than the water does. That's another thing we got to consider. So it's not going to be as much ice fucking melting and water coming out as we think. But anyways, I'm going to end on that point. I do still think climate change can be an issue. I just don't think all the shit they blow out of proportion, like the water and all that, is an issue. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I hope I don't get banned for hate speech or some bullshit on YouTube. And I hope Twitch doesn't try to fucking ban me because censorship and stupid arbitrary laws about not being able to talk about the details of things. Anyways, boys, see you on YouTube. I'm going to hopefully upload some videos of me doing driving and piloting and shooting rockets and stuff on Battlebit. And then I want to do another one from the aisle I've had in the pocket for a while. But other than that, ain't nothing new. I'll see you next Tuesday between 8 and 10 o'clock. I'm keeping to it, sticking to it, and that's the new time because I'm off every Tuesday. And if my off day changes, I'll let you know. Have a good one, boys. We out!